who's the poshy in the corner throwing comments in. He's from Cabra.
My sincerest apologies, Nicola.
For the foul language. Hello and welcome to Preachin on Preacher at the Movies, episode 89. This week we're going to be talking about the 1996 horror classic Scream in part 1, and in part 2 we're going to be talking about best and worst horror movie cliches.
Mm-hmm.
I made an absolute bollocks of that, but that's beside the point. Gentlemen, we're in our new headquarters. Let's talk about that right
I
at the
think
top.
we should go through this.
Firstly, sorry, you're Aidan Ralph.
That is Aidan Ralph.
Fuck me. Right, I'm Aidan Ralph.
Joe Lennon.
I'm Michael Ormond.
And I am Ken.
Yes, you are.
Sitting off to the sidelines.
And thanks to Ken,
Yes.
we have our
Ken, get
new...
over here. We need to acknowledgement. Come on, I need a little
He's
bit
like Banksy.
No. Yeah, exactly.
He's going to shred all the evidence as soon
Yeah.
as he's done. That's a
Leave
pop
that-
culture
that
reference.
new preacher poster in the background is just going to start shredding halfway
Yeah.
through the podcast.
This table's
There is
rigged to
quite a lot.
explode.
There is quite a lot around here.
Yeah.
From the Preacher is one thing. I love the light box. That's fantastic. I think Aidan loves the pop
If
star.
you can't see it in the actual video, it might be a bit overexposed. It does say Preachin on Preacher.
Oh yeah, it
I
might be
might try- I'll
overexposed.
see if I can fix that in post if you can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy days.
Absolutely
We can't see
not.
this, can we?
No,
take
we
it
can't.
off and show, and then
That
just stand
is-
it there.
Oh yeah, here. Look, I got an idea.
I think that
Yeah,
might have
like-
been on one of our live shows before. That
Put it
was
there, will we?
a nice
No,
gift
it's-
from Edel.
Yeah, actually, we can see it perfectly there.
Okay.
Like,
So
There's
that's
quite a lot around here as well.
Mhm.
Actually,
that's
now
not
that
going to be in the
I think
second half now.
Pre-
That's the only problem.
Preaching on
But-
Preacher.
We
No,
put
we'll
it
move
back.
it back.
Oh,
Preaching
yeah,
on
sorry.
Preacher at the movies, nicely displayed on the screens.
Mhm.
Definitely won't have any problems with those. In
Oh,
part
definitely
two.
not. No.
Good enough.
No.
Foreshadowing.
You've got
Just like a good
Star
horror
Wars
Mm.
Drive. We've got our guzzling on Gosling. We must get just a picture of him like nude or something. I'd be happy with
yeah,
that.
but what's better than his nice big broad shoulders?
That's
We
true.
got the clapperboard, which I believe you got in Tiger, if I'm not mistaken, Ken. Right?
I did.
Yeah.
It's-
Tiger's great. That's
it's
my
barely visible, but it's there.
We got
Tiger.
some
If you're watching, then sponsor us.
movie vinyls, pop vinyls. We've got
Yeah.
Slimer. Good old
Mr.
Stay
Stay
Puft.
Puft. Yeah. There's Darth.
All from films we've not watched for the podcast.
That's that we. Yeah.
There's
that's-
Game of Thrones over there.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Not
Oh,
a
yeah.
movie, but okay.
We preach on TV shows too.
I think that there's a light box. We've got lighting. We've got there's a lighting on front. I was like, oh.
Yeah, absolutely, Ken. 100%. Thank
Yeah.
you for the setup of the new
Yeah.
thing. It's gonna
No
make
problem.
the videos look amazing.
I think it
Sorry,
adds,
more amazing.
it adds a
Ooh.
little something.
Yeah.
Which I think it
The
was
pizzazz.
As
very
we
much needed. I think.
As we said in private discussion, very professional looking setup. Still the same non-professional conversation.
Yeah.
Still the
That's
same
all right.
four douchebags talking about fucking nothing.
Yeah.
From 2
That's-
to
that's
3 to
very
4.
true.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly.
We're growing.
We're multiplying.
And next week we will have a live audience.
Yeah.
Preacher is moving to this studio, so this half here is going to have one of those chairs going upwards, and we'll have like a load of audience members, and
Yeah.
they can clap when we
RTE.
tell them to.
We're moving out to RTE.
We're
Yeah.
yeah.
We're taking over the Late Late Show.
Yeah.
We're not here to take part.
Yeah. Gentlemen,
Take over.
how were your weeks?
Not bad. Tattoos healing up nicely.
Yeah.
You got a tattoo?
I got a tattoo on my son.
You've
got
got,
a
a
tattoo.
son?
You got a tattoo on your son.
On my son, yeah. It wasn't
That's-
actually a tattoo.
That seems quite irresponsible. He's
Yeah,
only,
It
seriously.
is, yeah.
he's
It's,
only
gonna,
like a year and a bit old,
it's
isn't
also
he?
going to look horrible. He cried his eyes out. It was,
What a little bitch.
it was
He
a growing
whinged like a little-
experience,
When
yeah.
he grows into it, it's just
Yeah.
going to look like Slender Man.
Well, no. It looks like a mess now, but as he grows, it'll like.
so you
it's like
you foreshadowed his tattoo.
Exactly.
Oh, that's very clever.
It's like one of those grow your own monster things.
Grow
You just
your
dip
own
in the
son's
yeah,
tattoo.
grow your own
Oh.
son's tattoo.
That sounds terrible.
No, a week was fine. It was uneventful for
Yeah.
the most part.
Well,
Aside from getting absolutely palatic drunk at Edel's birthday.
we had a surprise party for Adele. It was Hannah's idea. And that was stressful for me purely for the fact that I was willing myself to not spoil it in any way, shape, or form.
It was actually nearly
Whatsoever.
spoiled on the last podcast.
Well,
No, it wasn't. I wasn't
no.
going to go that far
Yeah.
with it.
If you
It's like-
listen,
We've nothing to do except for.
it's like we can't do Saturday because, and then we sort of. I think Joe, what you were going to say was I have plans,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah, pretty much. But
Yeah.
you cut into it, and you
yeah, just in case I
Made it
was
sound
afraid.
like you
Yeah.
were worse.
Yeah, but
Joe's
yeah,
gonna ruin it. Joe's gonna ruin it.
yeah. But yeah, that was a fun party, and the Dan Cave is finally open.
The
so
Dan Cave is sick.
yeah,
That's
it is very sick. I'm waiting for the first bona fide Dan Cave party or
Night.
Dan Cave gathering.
Yeah, that
night.
should be fun.
Yeah, we need to find out when that's open.
Night.
There's a new
Basically-
Mario Party game out. That
Yeah.
sounds like ample opportunity.
Oh,
for
it does
that.
Absolutely,
actually. Yeah.
So just to explain for people that don't know us, which people listening will fucking know us, but I don't think anyone listens outside of our circle of friends. But anyway, our friend Dano has his own Dan Cave out the back of his gaff, and it now is stacked with.
This fully operational
It's fully-
Dan Cave.
It's got a toilet.
It's fully
got a
operational.
shitter.
It's got a toilet.
Amazing.
It's got a
It's got a
fridge.
bar.
It's got a bar.
It's got a coffee area.
It's got
It's amazing.
It's got couches and seats, and it's got many video games from various
A
consoles.
washing
from-
machine and dryer to keep the girls busy.
For when they bring
Jesus Christ.
What?
For when they come down
What,
and
too
make
far?
us coffee.
Too
Yeah.
far. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh shit! I'm gonna get in so much trouble over that now, aren't I?
But it has like consoles
say
from the 80s right up till now. It's fucking crazy the amount of
Yeah, look, it even has like a mid-90s TV
yeah.
that looks like it's the weight of a fucking skip
They were
Yeah.
though.
sitting in the corner
Seriously.
to actually play old school games on.
Yeah.
Two people had to lift them at any one time. Those
Yeah.
things were dangerous.
Because I don't know if like for people that don't know, if you try and play like an old, say, Super Nintendo on a new flat screen TV, there'd be just wavy lines on it. And shit.
Yeah,
It's just,
Yeah,
it's
just
un-
not
stretches
right.
the image. It just doesn't
Yeah.
look right.
yeah, it's
No,
it's unplayable
yeah.
on that
Obviously,
kind of TV.
those newer classic consoles have dealt with that. They've changed the output,
Mhm.
but the original hardware,
Yeah,
you need a CRT for
You
that
do.
stuff.
100%.
Yeah, which
Also
Dan
a
has.
degree to understand what a CRT is.
Cathode ray
Also-
tube.
Ooh, look at you, Mr. Science Man.
Thank
What
you.
do you call it?
Mr. Scientist.
Cathode ray tube.
Yeah,
What
but
do you call it?
a car
Telly.
hold.
A car hole.
Telly.
Yeah, so I've decided to try and wean down on Zelda a little bit. Because for a couple of reasons. Number one, I've actually overtaken almost all of
Everybody.
you guys. I've overtaken almost everybody in terms of hours on it, and I've only been playing it about 6.5 weeks, whereas most of the guys have been playing it a year and a half. So I should probably pump the brakes just a little bit,
Yeah, you've cut it down to about like 83 hours a week or something.
give or take. Yeah, I got fired from my job.
Yeah. Aiden doesn't go to work. He just
Yeah.
drops me out and sits in his car,
Yeah.
plays Zelda for 9 hours,
Yeah,
then drives me home.
flaps off, then drives me home. It's great.
Charges it up in Starbucks.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's eaten into time for other things like Pokemon Go. And speaking of Pokemon Go,
Oh, sweet Jesus. Do we have to
are we
talk
going
about
through
Pokemon
this?
Go?
Do we have
do we
to?
want to? We should mention
No,
it
we
briefly.
couldn't because you know what? We'll never get the podcast actually done.
Yeah.
No, go.
Like
Because that was a long ass argument.
it was.
It was
yeah,
crazy with just some bullet points on it.
Go for it. Go.
I
Go.
see
go
what
on.
you did there. Go for it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just for people that just explain a little bit
Sure.
how this element of the game of Pokemon Go works, because it's I thought it was
Can I use
interesting.
this as a toilet break? I've heard the story.
Yeah,
twice.
go
You
for
can, yeah, you
I
can.
might do it myself actually. Smoke break.
But like in Pokemon Go, there's gyms in Pokemon Go. You can put your Pokemon in a gym if it's your color. There's yellow
Three
team.
teams, yeah.
There's yellow team, blue team, and red team. I'm yellow. So if the
I
gym is
thought
yellow,
we were all yellow.
Jesus Christ, Mick. But if the gym is yellow and there's space in the gym, I can throw a Pokemon in there. If you last 6 or 7 hours and then gets kicked out, I get 50 coins, and there's other benefits here and there.
Yep.
And to keep them in there, I can also feed the Pokemon berries to keep them in there longer. So somebody in our Pokemon Go WhatsApp group, let's call her Brenda. She had now this is a grown ass woman, and she had a meltdown
Because she
in the group.
accused somebody of burying her.
Again, when I say I've heard the story twice, I've actually heard the story twice.
But that's
Well, now you're hearing it. Totally.
Uh-huh.
yeah, but
Two times the charm.
our loyal listenership haven't heard the story.
Sorry, that's true.
So
So she complained about somebody burying the gym while she was trying to attack it, which is all fair in love and war in the
Yeah.
name of Pokemon
To
games.
clarify for non-Pokemon Go players, burying the gym does not actually mean covering it in anything.
Oh, it means
It's giving berries to your Pokemon.
to keep it
them-
in there.
Yeah, to keep
And
the
like-
health up.
The logic being like I get it. Sometimes that can be annoying. Like if you're trying to go gold in a gym, like there's ways to go gold in the gym so you get more benefits from the gym when you spin the stop on it and stuff, and you get items. There's benefits to going gold in the gym, for example, or like I said, to get coins for keeping your Pokemon in there for long enough and all that stuff. But again, if somebody's in there for a full day, you kick them out, and then they kick you out immediately and put themselves back in there. It can be annoying, but there's nothing you can do about it.
No,
really.
nothing
It's all
you can
part
do.
of the game.
Yeah.
They're not breaking the rules in any way, shape, or
No.
form. But this person literally went in there and accused people in the group, let's call them Frank and Alice, of literally burying themselves. Like I was like, I don't know, I know Frank and Alice. This doesn't seem like them. They don't really do that kind of shit. Because I've been playing with them regularly in Pokemon Go.
Weren't both Frank and Alice in work at the time?
They exactly.
And
they
didn't talk into the group
Just
for like a
getting
few hours
Simpsons.
later. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it was
like,
crazy.
The worst thing, like I hate when people accuse people of shit that
you went off
don't-
on her a little bit.
that you don't know the facts about.
Yeah,
Like she straight out accused them and then tried to deny it. It was in fucking black and white.
yeah.
In the text message
And she was-
that
she was-
she accused them, and she was
Yeah.
like, "Nah, I didn't. Sorry, Brenda, but you fucking did."
Yeah, it was just
No,
fascinating that
that's
she
a
got.
little bit too obvious. What, like Simpson L?
What?
No, maybe Lisa S.
yeah.
Yeah, that'll do.
But yeah,
Little
so
bit too obvious.
she kept going on about it, and then eventually, I almost said the real names. Eventually, like Alice came in, she's like, I don't know why people are talking about me, but I've been at work all day. I haven't like gone near
Yeah.
Pokemon Go. Later on, Frank came in, and he was like, yeah, also haven't done any burying. Wish I did now though. Lol. And it was
But
it was just so awkward and just fucking weird. Like it was just crazy.
My favorite part of that story is when James was the last straw and he just left the conversation.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like at
James?
this,
Oh,
James.
James.
Let's just
use-
James left the group.
yeah.
I
His
swear to
username
God,
is-
if we use one more fake name, I'm going to say all four names legitimate.
Let's
I'm
just use
actually,
his-
do you know what
No,
impresses
'cause-
me the most about this telling of the story?
We all
Well-
know who we're talking about.
No, that Aiden has kept
the names.
the names correct throughout the entire thing.
We're surprised you
So
haven't
wait,
got
thank
it
you.
wrong.
So which
I don't know
Alice
any of
is
these
who?
people.
Well, no, you always get named wrong.
Alice is
Alice.
one of the two that was accused.
Damn it! I thought I'd
Get
get you
fucked.
there with that.
Get fucked.
Why can't we say the real names?
Because Alice is Amy. Whoops, I did it.
Oh fuck! Frank is also Dan. Shit.
Um,
The
But yeah.
following story is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
all the names have been changed.
Brenda.
For instance.
Yeah.
Wait, no, did we not call her Breed? Brenda. Shit. Oh shit. I ruined
But
it.
in any case, so
Yeah.
to me it was just fascinating because like when with my take on now, I didn't get it goes as venomous as Ken did on
I didn't get fucking venomous.
Oh
Well,
no, you were out for blood, man. What you said was some that like was really
She came in,
aggravating. Like,
she started turning around and saying that I want to be able to take the gym because I can't get out and play much because I have kids and I'm sick and I work. I'm like, I am sorry, Brenda, but
Breed.
Brenda. Brenda,
I'm sorry, Breda, but like everybody has jobs. Lots of people
Like,
have health
I
problems.
work. No, I don't have kids, but like the odd time if I'm
You've got
sick,
a Joe.
I have a Joe and
Yeah.
a Rosie and an Opie.
That's
And
way
like,
worse than kids.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
We all have problems. Like, I
and
mean,
the podcast that talks about movies.
Like I'm. Yeah, apparently we do. But
The last 12
this is
minutes
when-
is not
this
moving.
is- This is Wednesday,
Christ in
Joe. The
heaven.
podcast is on Tuesday for the TV shows and movies and shit. This is Pokemon Go Wednesdays. Fuck you. But yeah, it was just like I'm like, if you're sick,
Wouldn't Pokemon
don't go
Mondays
out.
make more sense?
If you have to take care of your kids, they come fucking first.
yeah.
But anyway, before I start screaming, let's get into
Yeah.
screaming.
But the point of that thing was, I just found it fascinating that a grown woman was
But that's how all of our
having this
weeks
much of a
were.
meltdown. Yeah, I just thought it was fascinating. I was like, just like if you want the gym to not be buried, just ask Frank and Alice.
Ask and
Good.
don't
Yeah.
accuse.
Yeah.
Just ask them if they're like, here, would you mind letting me take this, like keep the gym? And they would have eventually come in and said, actually, no, it's not us doing it. It's somebody else, obviously. And then that would have been that.
There's a civil way to approach that question.
Exactly.
So
That's what I said.
Alice is actually one of the two names always used when people are writing about security problems. It's
Really?
always when security issues. It's always Alice and Bob.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
My
More fun
week
facts.
was tiring work, did the same, party,
Oh God, I
all
forgot
the
you
rest,
didn't talk about
and
your
yeah, that's pretty good. So
Okay.
scream.
So scream.
Fantastic. So 14 minutes after the start of the podcast, we'll get to the actual meat of the
Well,
podcast.
I'm sorry. I
Now
thought it
that
was a
no
fun
one
story.
is listening,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm
Okay.
kidding.
As
Aiden.
you said, professional background, still
Mhm.
the same bullshit.
Unprofessional.
So true.
Hey,
People.
hey, hey.
Aiden, Scream was your film, so why don't you run us through?
Why I chose it and
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah,
So-
why did you?
For many, many years, why'd you choose this piece of shit? For many years, I didn't like the horror genre, just in general.
Mhm.
I've softened my stance on the horror genre as a whole, like very much so in the last 5-10 years, because I just thought, you know what, like, why am I like dismissing the entire genre? I need to give some of these classic horrors a go and just see what they're about and see what the appeal is. And like at this point, I think I definitely get it. I mean, I've seen Halloween. I've seen Nightmare on Elm Street. I've seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I've seen The Exorcist, and like they're all fucking brilliant.
I think
films.
you said this to me maybe a year or two ago.
Yeah.
I think it was because I remember telling you, I love horror.
Yeah,
And I've gone through so many. I think Ken is another. He loves horror as well. Like,
I was
there's
probably
so
closer.
many fucking. I love horror. I've watched.
I'm into
ridiculous
certain horrors. There's
I was
certain ones
I was
that
close.
won't
Yeah,
watch.
I was closer to Aiden's side of the
Yeah.
fence in that I didn't watch that much horror.
Mhm.
But I was like, I think the genre is good, and I'd come down on the side of give me the kind of 70s and 80s style
Yeah.
horror films rather than a lot of the real camera footage stuff that we're getting
Found
nowadays.
yeah. That's I mean, there's-
Some are good. Some are absolutely awful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but my one exception
Sometimes
to
in the
that.
same series.
Well, the
Mm.
original Paranormal Activity is a fucking gem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard the 15th
Like-
one is terrible.
Yeah, the original
Yeah.
was like, holy shit, guys! This like Blair Witch was the first real found
Found
footage,
footage
and
thing,
that is still a fucking great film.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That still scares the shit out of
which
Blair Witch.
Blair
I've
Witch
never
is
seen
done-
Blair Witch actually.
me.
It's
Great
just
movie.
too much realism.
It's worth it. That's
you put
actually
yourself
worth a
into
watch.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Not
that's
the
where
second one.
Paranormal came
Mhm.
from. They were like, how do we take it to another step?
Yeah,
And the first one was like completely new style of found footage where you're like, holy shit, this could actually be
Mhm.
something.
Whole
But they
video
made
type.
20 fucking terrible ones.
Mm.
Out of all those, like there's 5 or 6. Maybe 3 are good. The rest
Yeah.
are fucking awful. Like with every horror series, they
Pretty
tend
much,
to have
yeah.
one really good one, and the rest are like meh.
Yeah, I mean, for me though, the one exception, like I was saying, the one exception to the rule of I don't really like horror was always Scream, because I've always
Mhm.
loved this film. I don't know how
Scream
I
kind of takes the piss out of horror,
It-
doesn't it? The
it-
whole
it
film in
kinda
itself
does.
seems like
Yeah.
a joke on the genre.
kind of. I mean, I mentioned this this last year when we watched A Nightmare on Elm Street during our Halloween block.
Mhm.
I decided to watch one of the sequels, which was Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Mm.
And New Nightmare is definitely the precursor for Scream because it's very meta, it's very self-referential. And New Nightmare, what happens is it's the real actors playing themselves,
Okay.
and then somehow the actual Freddy Krueger ends up going crossing into the real world,
Right.
and it's sort
Think
of
Last Action Hero, but for horror films.
yeah, but it's
Nice.
real. It's real meta. It's a neat idea.
Yeah.
So they
it's
stole the idea from Arnie, huh? Of course they did.
but it's
Those sons of bitches.
Oh, you stole my idea.
My movie.
Yeah.
And my
Um,
cookies.
And my maid. But yeah, the New Nightmare, like it's a very cool idea for a film.
Mhm.
And that's worth watching. It's not amazing, but it's pretty. It's a decent enough film. But then he took that idea with Scream and did a much better job.
Mhm.
Like Scream's a much better film.
Mm.
And the self-referential stuff and like the cliches that they make fun of and stuff, it's all done extraordinarily well, I think. Like the way that they have, like, you know, the video store guy that's like says, no, these are the rules for horror films. Like,
Mhm.
I love all that shit, and to this day that holds up crazy well. And it's by all accounts that there was, you know, from what I've read and stuff, there was the horror movie genre was kind of dying on its ass a little bit, and this
Before Scream, yeah.
yeah, and
definitely, I
this
agree.
really
There was a
rejuvenated it.
resurgence.
Yeah, it rejuvenated it and gave it a breath of life that
I
it
think
really
yeah,
needed.
the
It did and
difficulty
it
of
didn't.
the difficulty of watching Scream in 2018
Yeah.
is the
Terrible acting.
is the 22
Don't even get me
years
started. I
is
will
the-
get there.
is the 22 years of films that have come since then
Mhm.
that makes Scream look like
It dated it very quickly, kind of thing.
sort
or-
of. It's more like it's taken these tropes and stuff that
Mm.
were here as staples of the genre, turned
Yeah.
them on their head. But like a lot of films since then have done it, and it's hard to remember that Scream was the first one to do that. So
Okay.
you're watching it with this 22 years of knowledge of what's going to come after it,
Mm.
and it's like this stuff. It makes it seem like it's not as groundbreaking as it was at the time.
Right.
If that makes sense, like that's the way I'm kind of looking at it, because there was this formulaic horror thing, and maybe that's one of the reasons why what Aiden was saying, like the genre was kind of stagnating.
Yeah,
And then this kind of just
it was
turns it on its head. But then everything that came after was doing similar, and
Yeah.
it started so many parodies,
Yep.
scary movies specifically, that it's hard to separate all of that stuff apart, and it kind of tars some of Scream with that same brush. If you get me, so that's where I was
Yeah.
kind of coming from. No, I agree. I had some issues with this film watching it now
Mm.
that maybe I didn't remember from the first time around. Like, front and center for me is how fucking corny some of the dialogue is.
Dialogue is. I did
Like
write
when,
that
though?
down. The dialogue is pretty.
So it's like watching.
What's the
So for
word?
me, watching Clerks, there was this dialogue that was referential, whereas similar kind of dialogue in Scream didn't come off as natural. There was a lot of like when they were talking about their relationship being PG as opposed to R-rated, and she turns around and says, "What about PG-13?" and flashes her boobs.
I fucking hate that.
But it's just like no one
I didn't mind
actually,
that.
no one talks like this.
Most of that happens though when in the schoolyard when they're just sitting out front of the fountain and they're
Mhm.
discussing the whole thing of like the murder
That
and stuff like
scene-
that. That scene is everyone is over the top stupid fucking like the way their lines are the way they do their lines
Yeah.
in it almost seems like that might have been the practice run for it instead of
Yeah.
saying
That's
They
the
just
one.
happen to be reeling.
yeah.
Oh, we'll
like
take
it-
that one. That's
yeah,
fine.
it was-
That shot's good.
That was great.
If I'd
Dialogue-
seen a script in their hand
Yeah.
in
Mhm.
that scene, I would have been like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Dialogue-wise, that was to me, that was the only scene where I was just like, they could have either changed that or just dropped it or something. I don't know. It just that it felt a little off or just a little bit shit.
Yeah.
And that was the
I'm glad
very
we
near-
all thought that. Then did you
Yeah.
think of that on that scene as well? Like,
Specifically, yeah.
that scene seemed
could-
off. To
Yeah.
me.
And that was near the start of the movie as well.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh fuck! I hope this isn't a taste of what's to come, and that the film doesn't hold up as well as it should for me.
Yeah.
But
I'd
thankfully,
yeah.
thankfully for me, that was the only scene that was really where I was really like, I don't really,
I had some problems
like
with the
that
kind of
shit.
movie referential stuff. Just like
I never noticed
where
that so
they-
much until I watched
yeah,
it now.
until I was watching it, I didn't remember that they did it so much. But
Mhm.
like they're having these serious conversations where they're threatening each other at knife point or whatever,
Mm.
and referencing films at the same time, and it's like everything's a scary movie, and it's like, no, it's fucking not.
Sorry, no, I gotta disagree. I love all that shit, like all the references and stuff. That's one of my favorite things about
I
it.
But
think
I
it was
think
good
it's-
once or twice, but
Yeah.
when you reference
Yeah,
it in every
it's-
single scene, like nearly every single scene, people are saying something like, "Oh yeah, that was Halloween," or he
Mhm.
says a line and goes, "Nah, the thing in Psycho."
Yeah,
It was like,
Yeah.
and then there's other ones that's like, "We get it.
it's
You're kind of
done
paying
so
tribute
much.
to those films,
Yeah.
but it was a little too much." There's better ways to do that, I think.
And some of them are fine. Like Aiden pointed out to me when we were driving home, the janitor being dressed up like Freddy Krueger.
That was too much. And
No, so I thought that was perfect.
did
'cause
you? I thought that was way too much. I did not remember that fucking piece.
But to
by the
me,
way,
that
that's
was
what's his name? Wes
Wes
Craven.
Craven, yeah.
Craven,
Yeah.
But to me, that was fine because it's like, here's this little nod to a past horror film
Mm.
that Wes Craven obviously involved in, and it's like, oh, that's smart because it doesn't actually make a difference to the
I
film.
love the
It's
Wes.
just a,
I love the Wes Carpenter line. That was one of my favorite lines.
Yeah.
in the
Wes
movie.
Carpenter, I noticed
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
and there
it's
were
like-
some good, like that bit where he's watching Halloween.
Mm.
What's the movie store clerk's character's name?
Oh, I can't remember offhand. But go on anyway. I know
yeah,
what you're
so
talking
he's watching Halloween, and he's like, turn around, and the killer's
Yeah, yeah.
behind them.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, turn around, she's going to get... And I thought that was very well done, because
Oh,
he's
it's
watching...
deadly.
I
he's
love him.
wa-
I think
yeah.
he's one of my favorite characters
He's-
in the
about.
whole
Absolutely,
film.
he's amazing.
He's my favorite character, even
Mhm.
in the second one. I was like, okay.
In my mind, he was Seth Green till I watched the film again.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it was
Fuck,
the
I-
exact same one.
'Cause I was like,
oh,
Seth
Green
Green's
looks
in this
really
film.
young. No,
That's not
him.
Seth Green. Yeah.
My
Don't know
God.
why. It was Seth Green in my head.
Yeah.
So one of the other problems that I like, and again, I'm coming from the side. I still enjoyed this film. It's
Yeah, same.
cheesy. I had a problem with. So if I'm watching a horror film and it's not set in a realistic universe, it's monsters or it's supernatural,
Mhm.
I'll forgive a few bits of non-realism.
Gotcha.
If the horror film is set in like real world with no supernatural stuff,
Yeah.
I can't forgive some of the ridiculous lengths they will go to in this that don't make any sense at all. Front and center
on.
for me was very end of the film. Sydney's being threatened by the two guys having that knife point,
Yeah.
and that all happens. And she runs away.
Right.
Finds time after she runs away to make a prank phone call with the voice thing, dress up as the Scream killer, and hide in a closet waiting for the perfect moment to jump out with an umbrella.
Not even that. She also dragged her father, who's
And dragged her father
and tied
gagged
up.
and bound into that same
Yeah,
closet.
that pissed me off a little bit. And how I didn't realize that as a kid. I think it's being critical at this age, and as we're reviewing it, I thought of it as more of like, what the fuck? No way she
Like,
could do
obviously,
that.
you go into these films with a certain amount of kind of... You have to distance yourself from reality. But that specifically was just too much, because it was just like... Okay, why would you do that? If these people have killed like 12 people around you this night. I'm going to hide in a closet. And I'm going to take the time to put this mask on that's going to reduce my vision.
Yeah.
Make a phone call, which they might hear me doing.
Actually, you can see through pretty well. I can give you the mask right now.
I've worn them before, but
yeah, no, it's,
less well than my actual eyesight.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. And other times it was like the killer was disappearing and reappearing in ways that didn't make sense. Or and
that happens quite a lot in horror, though. Like,
yeah,
you lock one door and he's suddenly on the roof.
To me, it's always a supernatural element, though. Like, if Freddy Krueger disappears and reappears somewhere else, well, he's supernatural.
Yeah,
but if this is supposed to be a guy, it doesn't make as much sense. The other one that really kind of annoyed me, and this is the one I thought was completely... It didn't need to happen. So, the cameraman had his throat sliced. That's fine. Falls down, and then the killer chases Sydney as she climbs out of the car and then tries to flag down thing. Somehow the killer still found time to pick up the cameraman's body and put it on top of the roof of the van just to scare Courtney Cox.
Oh, here, you think that's bad? You should go back to the very start of the film. That's bad. You should go back to the start of the film with Drew Barrymore, where she's literally only 10 feet away from the door, and about 20 seconds later, she's tied up, strung from the tree, 40 feet to 50 feet down the garden, all right?
With her guts outside.
How the fuck did he do that in like 20 seconds? Like, there's...
And again, it's probably...
Aiden's not really happy with us right
now. No. That's it.
These are a sci-fi movie.
It's not sci-fi.
These are all things that didn't occur to me, but now that you say it's like, yeah, that is a good point, but I don't know. I mean,
again...
If they're going to put it in realism, try to be it. Then again, you kind of have to leave your mind at the door with most horrors.
A little bit,
and I think Scream especially, and you can tell that straight from the get-go, and that's the reason is, it's, as I said, it's almost like Wes Craven was playing like a tribute to all the horror that came before.
Yeah, absolutely, but at the same time trying to pull his own subversion of
the
tropes on
I mean, I will
that's
say,
why I can take myself out of it and be like, it's not based completely in realism. There's still a little bit of... like Halloween H2O paid tribute to the Scream. So in Scream they play Halloween on the TV. In Halloween H2O, when they came back, Scream 2 is on the TV. So it's kind of like a little tribute kind of thing.
I mean, I will
they kind of paid it back.
I will say this, as well as like having to suspend disbelief for certain things. I'd say, not to try and make excuses for the filmmakers, but I'd say like one thing could be like just the the editing thing and sort of and also the pacing. If they had to realistically like wait and have the parents like scrambling around for long enough for Drew Barrymore's character to be strung up in the tree, that would slow the fucking film down possibly.
Of course,
do you know what I mean? So that's the other thing. Did you notice the cameraman?
No.
What do you mean?
Did you notice who he is? He's one of the actors from Preacher, season 1.
Is he?
He's the sheriff from Preacher season 1.
Oh shit!
Oh, he is.
Because he came up, his name came up. There, I was like, what the fuck? So he's Warren from There's Something About Mary. He's the cameraman in Scream, and he's like he's the retarded brother in Son of a Mary. He's the cameraman in Scream, and he's the sheriff in Preacher. So I need to see more of this guy's films
because
he's
like mad. Eugene's dad.
Yeah,
Eugene's dad. Yeah,
no way.
He's very young looking, I guess.
I know you're
obviously
about
50 years
pounds
ago, so,
overweight.
Holy shit!
When I say move your fat ass.
Yeah,
Courtney Cox, I hate her.
In this film?
Oh, I fucking hate her in this film.
I
know you're
like
meant to. She's the absolute a bitch character. And even Courtney Cox, I remember seeing interviews of like things like, I wanted that character.
Yeah.
I wanted to get away from friends and do something different.
Yeah.
She rallied for that part.
Yeah.
And
she did a great job.
She is genuinely the best actor in the movie.
Yeah. I'd never...
Henry Winkler. I'm sorry.
Okay. You guys touched on some bad acting. I didn't find a lot of the acting to be bad. Quite
Drew
frankly,
Barrymore was terrible at one
She
part.
was
Drew Barrymore had
a little bit overacting,
I
I think.
count.
Do you know what line made me hate her character? Like going, oh, that was really bad.
I'm glad
writing.
you died.
She goes, well, my boyfriend, he's big and he plays football and he's going to kick your ass. It was like, that is a terrible writing.
But it's also
that is lazy.
It's also the
writing.
kind of line a 18 or 17, 18-year-old would spew at someone threatening her.
Yeah,
but when
I
you
didn't
see
have-
him on the chair, he's not that big.
Or
No, he's not actually.
but she's speaking
like,
to
all.
a potential serial killer. Of course she's going to say he's big. Come on, man.
I just thought it was
Do you know what I mean?
delivered completely terrible.
It's like going on your
Billy
fourth
Loomis.
date being like, I'm huge, and you're not. You know what I mean? It's
Can I just speak about some good acting in this film?
okay.
Okay, so Courtney
there any?
Cox.
Matthew Lillard. I need to see. all of his. He's Shaggy. I need to see all of his films.
He was awful
Shocker.
in this film.
He is not awful in this film.
He is awful in
He
this
is.
film.
Get fucked.
The only part that he was really good with was when I found out most of his lines were ad-libbed, and Fair Fucks and Wes Craven kept it in because
I'm
he kept making them laugh.
laugh.
Like, I made sure these weren't in my facts, but
Uh-huh.
when the phone hits him in the back of the head,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was ad-libbed and it was a complete mistake.
Yeah.
So he was supposed to drop the phone, but it spring back and you can see it hit him in the
Mhm.
head.
Was that when Drew Barrymore threw to?
but his line where he goes, "Oh, he hit me with the damn phone," that was ad-libbed.
Yeah.
I thought that was one of the best lines he did in the whole film when
Yeah.
he was dying.
I didn't have a problem
Like-
with his acting. I thought it was fine.
that
I thought he was-
classic
there were-
dude surfer kind
There,
of
I
thing.
yeah,
thought he
there
was
were
deadly.
there were one or two bits where maybe he,
Overacted.
yeah.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought he was fine. I thought Billy
Ooh,
was
yeah.
perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I actually thought he pulled off creepy genuinely well.
He did very well.
There was,
I'll give him that.
again, it's a horror film trope, but the instant turn from, I'm innocent to, hey, I start to have a real cocky look on my face
Mm-hmm.
was instant. Like, it was just, where did that turn come
He kind
from?
of had it constantly throughout the
That's-
film, though.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
Henry, is it the part where they're in the video store
Mhm.
and we're in what's the guy's name? The guy who knows all the rules and stuff.
Randy.
He turns around and Billy's in his face.
Mhm.
I did some
And-
severe
What
Googling
about
to
you?
find that, by the way. But anyway.
That
I
part.
did lots of Googling to find that out a few minutes ago. But anyway.
That moves on to Billy, the actor.
Mhm.
It's no wonder we don't know him from any other film in history. He's awful.
Which one is he?
The
I know. I
other
thought he
killer.
was. I thought he was fine.
He
And
was fucking terrible.
No.
you think so?
Nearly in every scene. All right.
He's fairly scenery chewing.
Oh God, I'd rather watch the background.
No, that's
Like-
Jesus.
I know. I think
Well,
he's,
it is a
no.
lovely background.
Get
No,
over
I
yourself, Ken, for God's sake.
I think. No, I think like I can't really pick out any acting that was particularly bad. And like I said, Matthew Lillard, like I think he just about pulls it. Like he just about manages to stay plausible
Mhm.
for like fucking 90% or 99% of it anyway.
Yeah.
The only bad line like is that kind of shitty scene we talked about a few minutes ago. But I put that down to the script more so than
Yeah,
He was
there were
acting.
some parts.
I thought
of
he's
the script
deadly. And also as this is a different film, but as Shaggy, he's amazing. Regardless
I-
of what
yeah,
you think
because you
about
I
the
can't
film.
know
see his
I've-
face.
Is he in Hackers as
He's-
well?
I think he is in Hackers.
I think he's in Hackers.
I want to see I want to guzzle on Matthew. Let
Here
me see,
now.
macking on Matthew.
It's the
Can we
first
do that?
Scooby-Doo
Macking
good.
on Matthew.
Yeah, macking
Was
on
I,
Matthew.
am I right saying the first Scooby-Doo was good?
Yes,
It was,
it is
wasn't
good. It's. I mean, it's not. It's technically
What's
kind of
his
shit.
name,
But it's
maybe?
great. Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. And I've only seen two of his films, but in both of them, he's incredible. He got a lot of voice work for Scooby-Doo after that. You know that
Did he?
because he did such a good job.
Let's see, what else was he in? Scooby-Doo, Scream,
Without a
Scooby-Doo 2,
Paddle.
Without a Paddle.
Without a Paddle's a fucking great film.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was in Hackers.
Yep.
Anything else jumping out here? The Wing Commander film he was in.
Dear God.
Scooby-Doo does WrestleMania.
Oh, he's done
Jesus
all the animated
God.
ones
He's
now.
done
yeah.
all
Yeah, that's what I'm
that.
saying, yeah.
Scooby-Doo and Kiss.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
We watch that next week.
Scooby-Doo's had some
He's
mad
in
adventures.
Scream 3. Okay.
Oh, that's
Is
it's
he?
probably
It's probably a
callback.
Yeah, it might be
yeah.
a flashback, yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing else massive. The Muppets Christmas movie.
That's probably one of those
It's
straight to
Christmas
TV.
Carol, like.
No, a
it's probably
very
like
Muppet,
probably
a very
TV
merry
one.
Muppet Christmas movie.
Probably a TV
I
one.
was like, that douchebag
Uh,
wasn't in that movie.
Devil's Child,
Mm.
Finder's Fee, Spanish Judges. So
Yeah.
nothing super
Huge.
Yeah, huge afterwards. But
Yeah,
You could tell.
I kind of need to see some of his. Some of his
13
other films.
Ghosts.
I really like
I've
him.
heard of that film.
Yeah, he's brilliant in the two films I've seen him. But anyway, what else?
I had quite a lot on this.
What else did you
going
jerks
in
not
this,
like about this amazing masterpiece of a film?
Going into this,
Start to
I
end.
did
Oh,
not
Jesus.
have one memory of Harry Winkler in this film.
Oh, I did.
Henry?
Yeah, Henry Winkler. No,
sorry.
when I saw him
not
in it, I was
one.
like, oh yeah, he's in this film, and he's good. Like he's
Did not
Henry
remember
Winkler.
at all.
No,
Did
yeah,
not
he's-
remember at all.
I
great.
just love the fact
My
that he
God.
was complaining at the students for being like childish, and two of your classmates are dead.
Yeah.
As soon as he expels them, he puts the mask on himself, and he's like, ooh.
I know. That's actually one of my favorite scenes of the whole thing. Is just Henry
Yeah.
Winkler, and then he does the whole Fonzie hair
Yeah.
check afterwards. I was like,
Have you
it's fucking
seen-
amazing?
Have you seen Arrested Development?
No.
Oh,
Yes.
he's so good in that.
I
He's like
fucking love him. in
that may be the
Money,
best thing.
please.
Like I'd be surprised if there's
He's
anything he's
the-
done that's even better than he's the lawyer.
He's the father of what's it?
The
Jenna Slate and
Yeah.
Thing's character, the other guy.
I can't remember.
Rufio or
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But like,
They're amazing characters.
He's incredible. He's I think I haven't seen a lot of Henry Winkle stuff, but I'd be surprised if there's anything he's done that's better than Arrested Development because he's
Anyone
so
knows
good.
the scissor noises like when he was talking to those two kids?
Oh,
That was
Just
it
some
was
of
the
them-
same noise over and over again.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
notice now.
Yeah.
It
it
tried
was
to-
very. Hey, I'm
Could be the killer.
sharpening two knives together
Yeah.
when all I'm doing is moving the scissors between you.
But like he wasn't like
It was very over the top
snipping the
sound. Yeah, it was
scissors,
very
just
over the
moving
top
it,
sound
yeah.
effects.
Yeah, I had to note it down because it was one thing I was like, "That's weird."
Yeah, it was
Like-
awful.
There's a lot of all right, Deputy Dewey. Jesus Christ, poor fuck. He seems.
to disturb me when I'm cleaning. Oh, sorry, wrong movie.
I see
Did you know
him
the
in a
original?
different
Sorry,
light.
sorry to interrupt.
Goofy.
The original title of this is one of your facts. Isn't
Ding,
it?
ding, 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 ding.
The original. I just
I'm gonna
read it
get
a few
more
minutes
facts
ago.
up.
The original title
We'll find
of
more
Scream
facts.
was Scary Movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep, this
Isn't
was
that
what
cool?
it's the.
So is that
Uh,
what they mentioned it in the movie a few times? They mentioned
I
Scary
think so.
Movie.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
Do you ever, it's kind of the way if you're filming.
It was also
a movie
Courtney
that-
Cox's sign off at that last scene. It's like the ending of a scary movie.
Oh, that was fucking corny as fuck.
Yes,
Like,
it
I like
was.
that. I like that ending. It's like,
But if they left the name as Scary Movie,
It
and
would have
that
been
line
10
was
times
there,
worse.
Yes,
I'd have turned the film off at that point.
at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus
okay.
Christ, what would you guys stop pissing on my favorite horror film? Goddamn.
I'm gonna be shitting on Scream.
Yeah. Like,
That's
so, Jonas, for this week, shitting on Scream. Next week,
shitting on Scream
Joe,
too.
Yeah.
do you want to run into your facts now? Are we at that
Already?
stage
I
of
also have a list.
already as we head to minute 35 of the first half of the
All
podcast?
right, yeah, we
I
can do
I
that.
have a list as well. So
Okay.
Do you want to do yours
afterwards.
first, or
I
what?
can, no, you can do the facts. And I'll do the
Facts
list.
list,
and then-
All right.
other list.
We're down to
Yeah.
8 facts anyway, so it's fine.
Okay.
Like 2
Sorry.
I mentioned. It's grand.
That's a fact.
Facts, Max.
Just the facts, ma'am.
So here is the top 8 facts, because I'm not going to go look for more because it would just be.
You don't have
I like to
backups.
choose the
Yeah.
best. I usually have a few backups, but
Not
these were
this
just so
week.
good.
Which
Let
two
down.
Which two were killed apart from the original title one?
The phone slips out of her hand. One, I actually thought I took it out. I didn't. And your one.
Okay.
All right,
your
we'll do
fault
it.
then.
So
Anyway,
9 facts.
Yeah.
The party scene near the end of the film runs for 42 minutes long. It was shot over the course of 21 days from the time the sun set to the time it rose.
I meant to actually bring that up.
Hmm?
The entire second half of this film is one scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Completely,
actually
yeah.
so. It's actually to me that's pretty cool because it's
Yeah.
like this is all happening over one night. It's not like
Mm.
you know
Yeah.
a fucking 2 week long thing. And the entire film happens over like a day and a half.
Yeah,
So
pretty much.
for
A, a weekend, isn't it? It starts off on the Friday. The
Well,
first
no, they're told
no,
to
the
stay
first-
home from school, aren't they? So it's during the week at some point.
The first death is, say, Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
then
would have thought the
party on the...
if I imagine it would be first death Thursday,
Yeah.
Friday they're in school, and then they get the thing. Okay, classes are cancelled, go home, and the party's the Friday night into the Saturday.
Oh, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
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 Well, they said here it goes. After it wrapped, the crew had T-shirts made that read "I survived scene 118," which was the name of the scene during shooting. The cast and crew jokingly called it the longest night in horror history.
Hey.
That's kind of cool,
Yeah,
though.
that's a neat one.
How
Yeah.
many? 21 days. Jesus Christ. Okay, so another one. At around 10 minutes, when the killer smashes his head through the window, and Casey, played by Drew Barrymore, hits him in the face with a phone.
Uh-huh.
That's actually director Wes Craven is wearing the costume and was really hit in the face by Drew Barrymore.
Jesus.
He had a welt on his face.
I thought. I'm sorry.
I
I
would
thought.
have
I
fucking hit her
thought.
back.
I thought she was good in this, but anyway.
I didn't mind Drew
I
Barrymore
thought she
in
was
this.
good.
I mean,
Her
she was in
death
it for
scene was
5
great.
minutes, so
Yeah. It's my favorite scene with her in it.
Yeah.
should have thrown the phone.
Stupid bitch.
Stupid ass
Hey,
bitch,
phone.
crazy bitch, old dumbass bitch, crazy bitch. It's a great song.
The high school scenes were to be shot at Santa Rosa High School in California. However, very close to the shooting date, the school board read the script and denied the film to be shot there
Is
due
that
to
why
the
it
violent
says?
nature, as they had been under the impression the
Yeah.
film was a comedy. The production was moved to Hellsburg, California. As payback, director Wes Craven put in the end credits under the special thanks section, no thanks whatsoever to the Santa Rosa City School District Governing
Yeah,
Board.
I saw that.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
way.
it's-
Yeah, it said it. I saw the name.
I
was
checked
like,
it.
what's
I
that?
went back and I just
That
went to the
is
end.
super
Yeah.
petty.
Isn't
That's
it?
funny. I like that.
That's funny,
though.
but
Yeah.
it's petty.
Oh, fuck, would
By
you
the
be
way,
petty?
I would be too.
By the
Yeah.
way, it's all in caps.
Santa Rosa School District Board.
Oh, yeah, I can't do that. That's the original scary movie. So at around 12 minutes at the beginning of the movie, when Casey's parents come home to find something wrong, her father tells her mother to go to the Mackenzies, which is the same thing Laurie, Jamie Lee Curtis' character, told Lindsay and Tommy to do in Halloween, as to which movie
sweet.
contains many references.
Is it the same name?
Same name.
The
and everything,
Mackenzies. Yeah, that's cool.
Go to the Mackenzies.
They must have like a basement or something that kicks out bad guys.
On set, Rose McGowan discovered that she could fit through the pet door. They had to
Yeah,
hold her
that
in place
was-
with clamps
Uh-huh.
in the pet door because she could
It
actually
didn't
fall
look
through.
like she couldn't fit through the
No,
pet
she could
door.
definitely
Yeah,
get
like,
through that pet door.
She got
Also-
like a tit through
Nipples.
What the
Nipples on her in that scene. Jesus Christ.
What kind of
Oh,
motor did?
amazing.
What kind of motor did they modify that door with?
Fuck me.
it. You're trying
That
to
was
call her
able to-
fat or something?
It's able to crush.
No, but to crush her face.
Oh, broke her neck and everything. Like, there's no way that
I think-
door.
yeah, I
a
think
normal
mo-
one of those would have power enough to crack
Most
a neck.
garage
And
doors
then
you
the-
could literally hold down just by
The
holding
bulb blew
Um,
because,
it.
yeah.
Mhm.
At one point during filming the opening scene, somebody forgot to unplug the phone that Casey used to try to call the cops. This resulted in a real puzzled 911 operators hearing Drew Barrymore screaming down for her life down the other end.
No. Oh, Jesus.
It's one of the famous stories on the set. I love that. That's fucking great. At around 52 minutes when Henry Winkler opens the closet, his black leather fancy jacket from Happy Days is hanging in it.
Fuck off. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Go
That's brilliant.
back and watch. You'll notice it's on the, I think, the right hand side.
Happy days. Anyway.
Happy days indeed.
So to finish off, I'm going to choose. Yeah, I did have one spare. Director of photography Mark Irwin was fired a week before shooting was to end. Director Wes Craven, upon reviewing the dailies, found that the footage was out of focus and unusable.
Oh, Jesus.
Irwin was ordered to fire and replace his camera crew. When Irwin responded that they'd have to fire him too, Wes Craven said, "Yes, you're fired too."
Oh, Jesus.
So he fired the whole crew.
Oh, my
It's
God.
like, yeah, you're fired too. Bye bye.
How do you not notice your camera's out of focus?
That's pretty bad.
Wait, hold on, let me check.
Ken.
Are we okay?
I think he's there. Hold on. Joe
Kenny.
is, Mick would be, now Aiden is, now the, wait, now the background should be,
Wolverine keeps going into focus though.
now the preacher cast should be.
Okay, and I can touch stuff to change focus.
Back to Aiden.
Okay.
All right,
Is that it?
That is
I
our
also have a list,
go for it.
Do you want list music for this?
if you like.
Oh,
Or-
double list music.
I don't really mind either way.
Do you have
What
list
did
music?
we? What
The
did
Lion
we?
King.
Oh, we did. Okay.
But that was for
Talk,
lines
talk.
though.
It was for lines.
Yeah, this isn't a line thing.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Well, then
fuck
you're
it.
not getting any music.
Oh man. All right. So what I have is movie references.
Okay.
Now some of these are fucking ridiculous, so I'm going to skip them. Like,
Okay.
it's like, oh, this scene here is similar to this scene in this film. Fuck off.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
references: Rebel Without a Cause, The Bad Seed, Psycho, which you still have to see. You
Yes, I do.
Psycho.
Do you have what they're reference? Like what part is reference? Or are you just gonna list a bunch of films? I'm just gonna list a bunch of films.
Psycho. I'm not gonna mention the
Okay.
Bad Seed. Sydney references it in the scene with Billy, in the sex scene with Billy. Psycho. Billy Loomis quotes along.
Yeah.
We all go a little mad sometimes. When she's and says Anthony Perkins, Psycho. Let me see. The Exorcist. Billy had mentions having watched the film on television. That's during that cheesy PG-13 whole thing.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Carrie. No wait.
Yeah,
that was,
the
oh,
corn
sorry. Yeah,
syrup.
the corn
Corn
syrup. You
syrup.
mentioned said that it's
Yeah.
from the movie Carrie. Let me see. Halloween. Well, you can.
It was
Many
on
times.
the
TV.
TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see. Friday the 13th. Yeah, that was the question for Drew Barrymore, which said, "Oh, it was
Oh,
Jason."
yeah.
I said, "No, it wasn't Jason. You
Wasn't.
dumb bitch."
You're dead now.
Like, I mean, this is a stretch right here. The Shining. Tatum drives a red Volkswagen Beetle. That is not a reference.
Wow, that is just awful.
Yeah, that's pathetic.
Maybe
Prom
it
night.
is.
It could be a
Mm,
reference.
Well, yeah, but
They mention.
come on.
All right, he mentions that with, quite a lot. It's
Prom
the same
night,
kind
yeah.
of plot as prom
Mhm.
night.
Randy says the police took tips from this film on their investigation. Friday the 13th Part 2, of course, that was another one. I'll just mention one or two more.
Are you okay?
Let me see. Nightmare on Elm Street, obviously.
Yep.
Mhm.
Let me see. Silence of the Lambs. Billy mentions during a film conversation. You guys have seen that, haven't you?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he doesn't. It doesn't. He doesn't.
You
have,
don't need a motive.
What's your motive?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
his motive is he doesn't have sex for a year.
Yeah.
Drive anyone psycho as well.
Great times. This is a weird one, but I'm going to mention it anyway. Clerks. There's a VHS
What?
tape seen on the shelf.
Of Clerks.
Yeah.
Huh.
Really?
Yeah. New Nightmare, reference in dialogue apparently.
Okay.
I didn't notice that. And Apollo 13 is another one. When Stu discovers that the gun is missing, he says, "Houston, we have a problem."
He ad libbed that.
did he?
Also, would
Yeah.
not say that that's a Apollo 13 reference. That's a reference to the actual line that
historically
your man said,
accurate.
Yeah. Although it's
True.
not. I don't think
It's not. He doesn't.
the line is actually like, we have a problem, Houston, not Houston, we have a
I
problem.
don't think he ever says Houston as well.
Yeah.
Someone told me before one of the
I think
words
that might
is
have been
wrong.
one of your facts
In
when we
Apollo
watched
13.
Apollo 13.
The
Well,
line
in which
is
case,
completely wrong.
in which case, it is a reference to
I
Apollo
guess.
13. So you were wrong in the first place.
But
That
if
was
it's
accurate.
ad-libbed, he probably wasn't referencing Apollo 13. He was referencing what he thought. Yeah.
Oh Jesus Christ! Anyway, that's the end of the list.
Okay.
Awesome.
And speaking of lists,
we have
Time
this.
to put it on the list.
Chip, you know what? You just made the list.
Oh, no. Oh, here we go.
Here we go, indeed. Okay, so, gentlemen, there is a movie that needs to be placed on our list. This is our 54th film to be rated. So we have a full deck of cards. If we ever wanted to release Preachin' on Preacher deck of cards with film logos on them, we have enough after this one.
Please don't.
I won't, because they'd probably be expensive. What are we thinking?
29.
that was quick.
I now prepare.
I was thinking
with
around the
my number.
25 mark. I was looking at it earlier on. I don't have it in front of me now, but I was thinking around the 25.
5.
Okay.
Because
Howdy.
much as I didn't enjoy the rewatch because I'm older and can understand movies now, I don't think it aged well, but it's still a fucking classic.
Yeah,
Yeah, like even though I hit on it, it's still one of probably my favorite or best horror films ever created. Like, and it's definitely in the top 10. I don't think it's better than Nightmare on Elm Street though.
That's kind of where I was going to come at this from. So I'm looking at stuff here, and the other kind of other horror films we have on this list. We have Hellraiser at 40. It's going to be above that. I don't think that's any question. I still think Halloween's a better horror film,
Yeah.
and I definitely think Nightmare on Elm Street is a better horror film if we're directly comparing like the same guy. So for me, again, I'd probably go down at maybe 30. Third. Again, I'm thinking around Muriel's Wedding, maybe above Muriel's Wedding. So below Halloween is probably my first inkling. But you, obviously, Aiden, you're super high on this.
Yeah, I would agree with Ken's 25 above Capote, because I think after that, that's when the real that's when the first one that I can see now that would be considered a classic which is Beauty and the Beast. Like I prefer it to say Young Frankenstein, or I prefer it to Trading Places, and
Over Popstar as well.
probably The Nice Guy, probably over Popstar. Yeah, just
Jesus.
I think so. Yeah, I like I mean, it depends on mood. I mean, they're
Yeah,
not really
absolutely.
comparable.
No. Like watching Beauty and the Beast, making a choice between Beauty and the Beast and Scream is kind
It's
of...
an
a
odd
different
choice,
one.
yeah.
I can tell you
Um,
which is the better film. It's definitely Beauty and the Beast, but like
as a film unto
it's hard
itself, yes,
comparable.
absolutely,
Yeah, it's hard to compare. But if someone says which one do you honestly think is better, I go, well, it's Beauty and the Beast. It's a fucking great film.
yeah.
That doesn't mean that I don't like Scream. Scream is still a great film.
I'd probably still watch Scream before Beauty and the Beast, but that's my own
But see,
personal taste.
I'd probably watch Nightmare on Elm Street before I'd watch Scream.
Would you?
Yeah.
And
Same director. I just think, I don't know, I prefer it aside, and ending aside, because we had our discussion on the questionable ending and studio interference of the Nightmare on Elm Street one. I think Nightmare on Elm Street's a better film.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I disagree, but look.
I mean, as a compromise, I could maybe... What do we think maybe about 28? It's literally splitting the difference. So it's underneath Nightmare on Elm Street, but way above Halloween, which is kind of where I was originally thinking.
Could do that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I do think Halloween in itself is a little better, but like I don't want to push it too far down. I'd be very happy with 28 as well, actually.
But then it's above Popstar. That can't be
That's
right.
why
29.
that's why I said 28.
29 then? Oh,
Lol.
29?
No, Scream is above Popstar.
Okay.
Sorry, Popstar.
He cried on front of it. He's going to cry there
Sorry,
quite a few
Andy.
times.
So are we saying
All right.
20? Are we saying 28?
28.
So below Nightmare on Elm Street.
I'm struck my Popstar tattoo now.
Yeah.
Just to
He's stroking his
a pop star
some
on
kind
camera.
of star.
Stroking a pop star on camera.
All right.
Yeah.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, so 20.
Ken, is that
so
all right for
28,
you?
is it?
I am perfectly fine with that.
Fantastic.
28? Is that what it is?
28.
Okay.
I will write that down.
Write
so
it down.
Do not forget next week.
No, don't say it. Do it.
Don't
Yeah.
Or
die
die.
Excuse me.
before you
It's up
write
to
it
you.
down.
It makes nearly dying here.
Don't you go dying on me now.
You could die on me now. Love that.
Yeah, so are we ready to move on to part 2?
We are indeed.
So join us in part 2 when we'll be discussing the best and worst horror movie cliches. And welcome to Preachin' on Preacher at the Movies Part 2. This week, the question of the week is best and worst horror movie cliches. Actually, give me one second.
Okay.
Really?
He should have
This
actually
is taking
said,
a
"I'll be."
long time. Look, he can't even get it on his head.
He should have actually said, "I'll be right back." He lost.
Oh yeah,
There we
man,
go.
you lost. You would have died in a heartbeat. Okay,
Are you going to podcast the whole time with that on?
I haven't decided yet.
do it.
I wouldn't because it turns out crap on the audio. A little bit. You
He's
sound-
wearing a scream mask. If anyone who's just listening to
can-
the podcast.
Can anyone hear me?
Okay, that's not too
Yeah,
bad.
Yeah.
yeah, that's fine.
Just make sure you talk through the little hole.
Yeah. He said talk through it, and I'll stick your tongue through it.
That's fucking terrifying.
Oh, gee, that's worse than...
I shouldn't have
Looks
done
like
that.
your
This has
top
been in a
lip.
drawer for 15 years.
Aw. You're licking 15 years of wow. That looks fucking hilarious.
15
Weird.
years of fear. That's
My
what I'm
friend had one of them that had
Yeah.
like the blood that went out the
Oh,
front.
I
that
remember
had
that.
I
the
used the
blood
little
pack
hard
on it.
pump.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
those ones. Those kind of they've sucked a little bit though because there's a plastic thing on it and it just looked a bit crap. Should I just take this mask off now?
You
you
want to
will
take
sound-
it off, but you don't want to
you will
take it off.
You will probably sound a little tinny on the audio.
Yeah.
Do you want to put it right front and center? Right here?
No.
No.
Ken has done
Don't
a very
ruin
good job
Ken's-
with this set.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's fucking
But
unreal.
look, I went out purposefully and bought like the main 4 characters of Preacher in Pop Funkos.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
You
Front
sound a
and
lot better
centre.
without the mask on.
Yeah,
you
I
look
think-
a lot worse, but you sound a lot
I was going to say, yeah.
For
No.
anybody watching the YouTube, we apologise for Aiden's real face.
Says you. We never see your real face.
Yeah, Ken, get over here.
No,
Come on.
Get your face. on
Everybody
my
that's
face.
watching literally knows what you look like anyway.
I don't
Like-
care.
Yeah.
All right then.
So yeah. So horror movie cliches. I
Yeah.
think. I think
Ooh,
some
Jesus.
there's some of these
that
that
was very loud.
I won't be doing that too often. Don't worry.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, I think there's some horror movie cliches that people like, some that they dislike, some that are, some that you ironically kind of like. So, well, that's dumb, but I kind of like it.
There's weird. Most of them come out as bad. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't believe she did that, or I can't believe he did
Yeah,
that.
sure,
Or-
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them touched on it. A lot of them touched on in Scream as well.
Yeah, like that's
Part of the...
Something we'll discuss.
Yeah.
We have already discussed.
Yeah.
Can
we stop making the
Yeah, I
fact that we
know.
record the podcast backwards joke?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
that,
like-
that is a full 100% cliche film. Like, they don't try and hide it. They do
Yeah.
completely do.
But they
Well, like,
also
well-
try and pull some of those cliches on their head. Like, that's the idea of
Yeah, but
Scream.
we'll talk about that in the first half when
We
record
will
it.
talk about
We
that
will.
in the
We
first
will.
part.
Yes, exactly.
Awful.
But yeah, like, what about you guys? Like, what's like some of my favorites?
Okay.
Like, and again, this is touched on Scream. Like, I was reminded, I was like, oh yeah, just ominous music when people seem to be doing perfectly innocuous shit. Do you know what I mean? There was a part where Sydney in Scream is just walking through the house, and there's just like, there's ominous music playing. Just like, it doesn't look like anything ominous is about to happen, but this music's telling me it fucking is.
Yeah.
So I like
Yeah.
that when it's done right. Anyway.
Yeah, there's actually... I remember listening to the director's commentary, and we're going to watch 28 Days Later as part of our horror movie-thon block.
Yep.
But there was part of that where he's walking through the empty London streets. Originally had no music.
Nothing at all.
Yeah,
like.
no music at all. And then a car alarm goes off. Like
Oh.
when he
Yeah.
bumps into it, and apparently test audiences were freaked out by that because there was nothing going on, then just this car alarm. They
Yeah.
had to add music to it to act as a buffer. Yeah, it's a really weird thing. But yeah,
Spoiler alert.
Music is
That's
actually one of my
disappointing.
favorite ones as well. It's that
Yeah.
it has to do with build up. I love the build up of say string or instruments. Something, as I said, nothing's really happening in it, but you have this background of building up to something.
Yeah.
Fucking love that. And something's gonna happen. You're waiting for it. And it's even if you're like, this is definitely gonna happen.
Yeah.
Something else happens. You're like, oh, brilliant.
staying
Love
on the music thing, and it's a horror movie kind of trope. when the killers in the film have their own theme song, like in Halloween, and this was one of your kind of dislikes about that film. Every single time Michael Myers shows up on screen, as
It's just,
Jesus, that's like playing half the film.
But they do it the same with Darth Vader.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not it's
but-
not specifically horror movie.
Yeah,
but
but the Dart theme, that's a fucking tune, boys.
Imperial Death March.
It's a belter. Some of my other favourite ones. Gratuitous nudity for no reason. That happens in a lot of 80s horror films.
That's a classic, you know.
Yeah.
Like
That's just good fun.
when is the titty shot coming in?
Yeah.
Like it's a
It's
classic.
like,
and said actress always dying afterwards.
Oh, of course,
Yeah.
yeah. Like
I
you show your tits, you're dying.
Yeah.
There's no coming back.
listen,
from
these tits are class, this killer's class. But where are the tits? That's what I want to know.
that's a long running joke in horror films at this stage.
Oh, definitely. I'm just trying to think. I knew I had a third one, but I've forgotten it. What about you guys? What are your favorites or least favorites as well?
I've got I try to stay away from even lists and stuff and just think of ones myself, and even ones that maybe because Scream throws loads at you. I was like, I gotta think of a few that weren't. Parents that just don't understand was one that really
I
pissed
just
me
don't
off.
believe the kids.
They
and stuff
don't
like that?
believe
Yeah.
the kids, even when the absolute extraordinary thing happens. Like 10 people could die, and they're like, "It's all in your head, honey." It was like, "Fuck off!" And then there's always a reason for the parents not to be there. There's always a dinner gala or a fucking business trip. I think just to get them out of the way. It's like,
Kid, I dislike you very much. I'm going on holiday.
I'm
going to leave you alone with a murderer for the weekend, but it's fine.
It's funny you should mention that, Joe, because I'm just on I don't know if you got this from the same website, but I'm on a website called dreadcentral.com.
Okay.
And it has a list of the 51 worst horror movie cliches. I'm obviously not going to read them all or anything
Please
like that.
don't.
All right.
I won't, but
also, don't read any yet till we finish going through
But
the ones
no.
we can think of off the top of our head.
Number 1, parents just don't understand.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not joking. That's right there.
Holy fuck!
Yeah.
Don't do that. That's creepy. That's really creepy.
The one that kind of I dislike the most, and it's more so in horror films that are trying to be realistic, people who just don't act like normal people. So
What do you mean?
the opening of Scream is kind of a
I
big
get you. I
demonstration.
completely
So like
get what you
they're in
mean.
these situations that are completely innocuous. Like she's getting a prank phone call,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden she's like breaking down, crying in the corner. It's like for a prank phone call, like relax the cack.
Did
And
just
then
say
obviously,
it did just say I'll gut you like a fish.
yeah,
Like,
but it's not even that though. It's then like when you hear or there's something outside, and then they'll walk around outside and they'll spend 10 minutes just looking around their front porch with the door open behind them, and then walking around and then going, "Oh, must have been nothing." Like the fucking guards in Metal Gear Solid. It's like,
huh? What was that noise?
yeah. Oh, guess nothing. I'll go back to my normal routine. And I'm not going to pick on Scream. It's just because the one that I have watched most recently. But like when she's trying to call her parents in that same scene,
Yeah.
and they're like 10 feet away.
Oh yeah.
Like chuck the phone. Just chuck the phone that's in your hand at the parents.
Nick, I will say-
this runs into...
She was stabbed.
I will
and
say
all
in-
at death's door, but
in her defense,
throw the fucking phone.
At her defense, she had 4 holes in her chest.
Yeah, I
Like-
mean, would you be thinking straight if you had 4 holes in your chest?
I'd be chucking the phone.
Would you be chucking? I've seen that film dozens of times. It never occurred to me once, like, bitch, throw the phone. Not once.
Well, then
And
I guess in a horror situation, we know which of us would survive and which wouldn't.
And you think you'd have the presence of
No,
mind? You'd be freaking the fuck out. The first thing you'd think is to scream for help, and
I'd
she
be
can't
long
do
gone. As soon as I heard
Actually, that's one
something
thing
freaky.
I didn't
Well, yeah.
understand about that, but yeah.
that. You cut your own throat as
Yeah,
you hear
no,
a noise at the door.
If someone breaks into my house, I'm opening the door and just sprinting. You
Yeah.
wouldn't even see me. It'd be like a shadow.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Until you get a stitch and then
Yeah,
it
no.
catches up to you.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's another one actually.
Go on.
Slow moving killers. I think somebody might have brought it in the
that is,
comments
I
as
Or
well.
can't
just
wait, yeah,
cardio levels
that's
of the
one.
victims.
Yeah.
The what? Yeah.
Yeah. There's
Inexplicable and
They're
inexcusable.
always less than the killer.
Yeah.
one I thought of that I hope makes sense. When, say, the dumb... Like, the character is kind of dumb for the whole thing.
Mhm.
Kind of like that, like, horror cliche of dumb blonde gets killed kind of thing. But do you ever see the one where, say, everyone else is dead and you're the last survivor?
Yeah.
Suddenly you're almost like the intellect
god?
of
Yeah.
like a god, and suddenly I know how to trick him.
Mhm.
It's like, why couldn't you do it for the whole fucking film then?
And save your
All-
friends'
yeah.
lives.
It was like,
because
suddenly they're
you
smart.
learn how the killer thinks because he's done so many murders. You're like, I know what he's going to do next.
This is
like
one
survival instinct or some shit.
This is one that I'm reading from the horror movie cliches. It's titled "Fuck Leaving, Let's Kill It."
Okay.
And they say sometimes some survivors have a legitimate chance to pack up while they're still alive and get the hell out of there. More times than not, though, they'll have out this personal grudge and decide to stay and kill it/him instead. I don't know about you, but if I just saw 10 or more people savagely killed, I'd give the baddie his or its due and get the hell out of there alive. Besides, local law enforcement can handle the situation, can't they?
No, good God, that's got to be another cliche.
Yeah,
The
if there's anything
the
about horror
police
films,
are
it's like
shit.
the police are absolutely inept.
Clueless. Like there is not, they haven't
Hence
got
why there's a
thought in their head.
retard cop as the brother in this.
Yeah.
What else did I listen?
Oh, this is good. Number 34. I'm just too damn horny, which touches on my one earlier on.
Okay.
So to speak. This one too
damn horny.
This is when two teens feel the need to crank out a quick one or go into some long makeout session. Usually there's nothing wrong with that, but when there's a killer in the loose and your friends are dying all around you, all of your focus should be on not being the next one to die.
Horror is a very horny genre.
It is.
Lots of horny people in horror.
Turns me on.
Do you know what? That definitely has a follow-up cliche that's not just stuck to horror, but I think nearly every fucking movie genre there is, and that's a load of people together. They've only just met. 40 minutes, like literally halfway through the night, we're riding.
Six different people have grouped off and are boning.
It's like we're survivors. We're all just going to
I want to be in a murder movie.
Yeah, like
Friday everyone is riding everyone.
I know, it's great.
That's the rule.
I've seen the first. I've only seen the first 2 Friday the 13th films, but they're very guilty of that.
Did you not watch A New Nightmare?
No, that's the Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, sorry,
Friday the 13th.
Oh, we still haven't watched it actually.
What, New Nightmare?
Yeah.
It's where
you basically have if you watch Scream.
Scream is a better version. We'll talk about that in the first
Yeah.
half when we record it. Well, this is another good one. Another zombie-related one. Damn right I'm a sharpshooter. Something about zombies just gives everyone an amazing trigger finger. Our people can range from an ex-military guy who has fired many weapons in his life to a ditzy, clueless blonde, a nerdy little teenager, or some flat slob. Yet they're all equally as gifted as each other with a gun in their hand. It also doesn't matter the type of gun. It can be a handgun, machine gun, shotgun, or sniper rifle. Our characters will always find it in themselves, not only to shoot the zombie, but also to make sure it's a headshot.
Yep.
Pretty fucking good, considering you've never shot a gun before or has been this scared in your life.
That also applies to any combat skill ever. Like, when people are being chased by killers and the killer's up close, all of a sudden they're like Bruce Lee. Yeah, I can throw you over my shoulder.
Right.
Or you'll have dead aim when I'm chucking these beer bottles at stuff.
It's funny because I never realised how difficult it actually is to shoot a gun until we went to Vegas. And we shot up a casino. That's not true, we didn't do that. We went to a shooting range nearby. And I was like, fuck, this actually is quite difficult. So, yeah. That's a pretty...
I have another one on
hurts
the
the hand, hurts the shoulder.
Yeah, hurts the pride
Aches all over.
when you miss.
Yeah, I never miss.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Many times.
I did not.
Did you not?
No.
Fair play. Joe?
That's how I'm telling you.
My phone has no signal.
Oh, yeah, that's
a classic.
I was like,
such a
you're
classic.
on a laptop.
Oh, shit. That's another one as well. It's like, all you need to do to get out of this situation
is make a
phone call. And it's always like, I can't get any signal.
Isn't there a entire horror... Is it a horror film or just a mystery film based off that entire premise? Like, I think it's called Signal. Signal.
No, I've never seen that, but I know there is a film like that.
The phone has no signal for the entire film.
Yeah.
That's a horror film in itself. It's like, I can't get on Facebook.
No signal at all. That's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, they should just make a movie about like a group of teenagers with no Wi-Fi.
Holy fuck.
They'd start cannibalism.
Too terrifying.
Yes.
Too terrifying.
Yeah,
you couldn't
I think
watch that.
Fuck up the kids these days.
Too soon.
Anything above an R rating.
Yeah.
Too much.
I mean,
that's psychological horror right there. That's terrorism. That's movie terrorism.
How do the IGers post their photographs?
Oh my god! How do they let people know on their Instagram stories what they're up to and send gifts on
what they're eating
or what they're eating? Yeah.
No food updates of the outdoors barbecue.
Yeah.
I'm not out of touch. It's the children who are wrong.
Here's another one that I actually mentioned earlier on, but they put it a lot pithier than I did. Or not a lot more pithily than I did. If only they could hear the music. Hey, what do you know? They're playing ominous theme music. I wonder if the body is in the current area. Thanks for ruining the element of surprise. Yeah, that's...
Didn't they do that in SpongeBob before? There was music playing and then SpongeBob was going, No,
Yeah.
it's the D minor. When the D minor plays, you always know something bad is happening.
Which reminds me of a Gary Larson picture once that I seen. Like it was a Farsight thing. It's just in a Western saloon. And you just see somebody coming in the door, and somebody just goes to the piano player. Bad guy coming in, F minor. Oh, I love that shit.
I have one more on my list.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Falling leads or whoever is being chased. They always trip, they always fall, and it's the stupidest thing I've ever. Like,
Yeah,
Even
it's
in
a
their own
repetitive
house, they
cliche.
know that cable has been running across the floor, and you step over it every time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But when the killer's there, you forget.
Yeah, I think anyone who's been chased by a serial killer in a horror film all of a sudden has the balance of a 2-year-old. And it's like, oh no, I'm rolling over and falling down. And then crawling instead of trying to stand up because crawling is faster.
That's a true one. They never try to get back up. It's all.
Guess I'm a floor person now.
The only one I've ever seen is Jurassic Park, where your one falls running from the Velociraptor and goes, "Get the hell back up," and she does,
Yeah.
and it's like, holy crap!
And survives.
She
listened
survived.
to you.
She survived. It was like,
But even
Yeah.
that crawling backwards thing,
Oh,
they're looking at the killer and
Uh-huh.
they're crawling backwards on the ground.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think the fall one is. I like that
No,
one when it's done. When it's done right, I like it.
I will say, obviously, you know, all these are taken tongue in cheek because
Yeah.
they're all serve a purpose to build tension or whatever. We're not.
And when it's done right, it works.
Yeah, because
a
if
lot
it
of
was
these
a
will do
realistic
anyway.
horror film, like
It would just be a film.
Let's take Scream for example. If the killer was smashed twice in the face with full liquor bottles, he'd be unconscious. Like
would,
the film ends there.
And
They
in the
unmask him.
crotch.
It's like
smack at that fridge.
smack at a
I'm
fridge.
telling you, he's out cold.
The door,
Yeah.
fucking falling out the window in Halloween. He falls 2
Oh, yeah.
stories and then just disappears. That's another one of mine. The killer who disappears at the end of the film because they want to make a sequel.
Is the villain dead?
Or when
Maybe.
they do fall out the window.
That's it.
And
You
they're like, oh my God, they're dead. And they look down, the body is there. They have a quick conversation and go, right, okay, where is he? Oh, he's
they're
gone.
gone again.
Oh,
yeah, the
oh no.
disappearing body, like, is really irritating. Like, most of the ones, like, you take Michael Myers and say Jason or anything like that, you can drop a fucking building on him on the end, all right, bury him 200 feet in the ground, all right, and the last clip you ever see will be like a hand,
Yeah,
like,
Or
coming
not
up,
even that,
or
just-
an eye opening. Oh,
it's a
fucking
hand on the
hell.
ground, and all of a sudden a finger just goes.
Yeah, the classic. Like a
Just a tiny
Just
little
a-
movement, and it's like, oh, is he alive? Is he? And then you have to wait years for the 10 sequels that inevitably come
Yeah.
out.
yeah, shite ones.
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a trope of horror movies?
I think
Shit
it is.
sequels.
Bad
Shit
sequels,
sequels,
yeah.
bad sequels.
Not even too fucking many sequels as well. A lot
Yeah.
of time.
Or when the killer changes throughout the movie because they've changed
Yeah.
someone in the first one to continue. Like Saw.
Yeah, no.
Like,
Okay,
there was about 40 million killers in that series.
Spoilers, Ken.
By the way, we're being hailed on the live feed as well. It's like we've been told to say hi. Let's see. Everyone's loving the set, by the way. Saying,
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Do you want to go through some of the
Yeah.
the live comments?
I will go through the live comments and thing because everyone's having a nice conversation on here. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Hannah's loving the new set. Yeah. Let's say Dan.
Let's take a minute
Right.
to appreciate the effort Ken has put in to put all this shit together.
Yeah.
Didn't we appreciate it in part one?
No, I
No,
said it.
we completely forgot about it in part one, and now we're acknowledging it. Or maybe we did acknowledge it in part one, forgot, and now we're acknowledging it again.
Okay, that's cool.
It's
I can
very
deal with that.
confusing.
Fucking hell.
But yeah.
Should we have a
What?
golf? Should we have a golf clap for Ken for the new set?
I'm banging on the table.
That's not
What
the
are you
first time
banging on
someone's
my
done
table for me?
that.
I have to eat me dinner off that. Stop banging me table.
Yeah.
It's all right. Just to watch out
Um,
for what's mayonnaise on your burger.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
mind
Wow. You
Semen
went there.
jokes, lads. Seriously, my ma's watching.
She is actually.
Yeah,
she,
she is.
she has something she wants to say in a sec.
Yeah.
But Hannah
Continue on,
says
Joe.
is not watching. Oh, sorry, I have a loose out connection there or something.
Every
Um,
week.
No, it's not.
Well, mostly. Anyway, sorry, moving on.
Daniel
Go
says
on.
he's not watching. Kenneth Keegan says the set looks great. Yeah,
that.
nice
what
one,
a lad.
Ken.
What a lad.
Your dad says, "Did they win the lotto?" It's like,
I fucking wish.
and
No,
Hannah's
it's
really angry that there's no check if we did.
Yeah. No.
See, Daniel says, "Like you, Mick." Okay.
What?
I don't get it.
I don't know.
Anyway,
That was probably in relation to something we said earlier on and completely missed the context.
Yeah.
Yep.
probably. Dan also says, "What's with all the Scream hate?"
There is no Scream hate,
there's
Dano.
There's not.
I fucking love that
a little
shit.
bit, a little bit. You'll see in part 1.
Yeah, no, I love that shit.
Listen,
No Scream
on
hate.
it.
Horsey.
Yeah, your mum says you're talking shite.
Always. That's what we do every week. Like, you obviously haven't watched it in a while because nothing has changed. It's been this is our 89th episode.
New set. Same conversation.
shit.
Yeah,
You
we should
probably
change this to preaching on bollocks because that's exactly what it is.
You probably talked about one movie. Oh,
Well,
I saw
If
that.
anybody
Oh,
is
the
watching
computer's restarting.
Shite.
Oh God.
No,
That wasn't you. It was
No,
Ladies and gentlemen, we give you
Windows automatic update.
automatic
shite.
If you're watching on the live feed or if you're watching on YouTube, we
That's
have no
fucking-
control.
That is
That's just Windows.
you literally could not write that shit. That was planned that. Okay. Hannah says,
good, well planned. Good job.
if Kevin McAllister can set up decent traps for 2 robbers, how come no one can MacGyver something to kill the killer? 100% true. If a fucking 6-year-old, 7-year-old kid can foil 2 robbers with marbles,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
most of these killers don't seem like the most intellectually capable people, for the most part.
A lot of the
Or once a
they're
doll,
very
for
arrogant
example.
and they look over the simplest of things.
Yeah.
Your family all in Puerto Rico at the moment?
Yeah, they've been deported.
Oh. That makes sense. They say they're listening from you from Puerto Rico. We're in the name of shite, Ari. I must feature some week with a bag of cans.
That's the Nicola said that. Ken, can my sister stall up with a bag of cans some week?
Well, she has to find a new secret preacher HQ, as
Yeah.
I commented.
That's true.
I'll,
It's a secret location. That is not my apartment.
Nicola, like on behalf of Ken and Rosie, I'm sure you're welcome up here.
She's
Just-
got everybody
wait,
watching it, by the way.
During a podcast, because we're tight on space.
There's
This
space
is-
for one more there, no?
Yeah, we could. I'll just move the
Yeah.
camera back just
Couches.
to fit in. Yeah,
Yeah.
just couches. Oh, we
Just
could
a
have
backstage, like
a
green
preacher
room.
on
Yeah.
preacher, like chill out.
Yeah, like a studio audience. Oh,
Also-
sing us.
We could get loads of people in.
Just one person clapping.
Studio with preacher.
Every so
Preacher on Preacher was filmed in front of a live studio audience.
It's like, why do you refer to your sister as a live studio audience? It makes us sound cool. I'm sorry.
Oh, shit. She also says if you don't say a special hi to your mother, don't come home ever again.
We've already said a special hi to my mother, haven't we?
I don't know.
Well, you meant you reread our comments. Isn't that
Ignoring his fanbo. What a bollock. Or what a bastard.
Jesus
He
Christ.
called you fat, Nicola. Kill him. This is amazing.
Holy shit!
It just means more lamb for Kyo.
This is starting to turn into the Pokemon Go group.
I know.
No, let's not get into that.
More
No,
on that
no,
in part
we're-
1.
Oh, no.
Hi,
All
Mom.
right.
Hi, Mom. Love you. Hope you're...
Yeah, it's gone from preaching
We did
on
actually,
preacher.
hold on, we got what Laura did
Family
actually
Feud.
say, the classic running up the stairs.
Yeah.
Can,
Yeah.
Can we all acknowledge that for a moment?
Nicola mentioned that as well in the comments.
Or
which
climbing out the window after you've run up the stairs.
Yeah,
Part of the same
yeah.
thing, but it's like, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
And there's always like some sort of like an awning or something underneath the window for them to climb onto. They slip and fall and break something.
Or miraculously land on the one thing that's down below them that would cushion the fall.
Like a boat.
Like
Or
a boat.
Or a car.
when the fuck did I call Nicola fat? I'm so confused by these live comments. But anyway.
Well, we were
think
talking in the car
I
earlier
think-
on. You're like,
Oh.
was that a private conversation?
Oh, shit.
I think it was that it's
I didn't
tight
hear
area
it.
and she wouldn't fit.
No.
I think that's where she's getting the whole
Oh,
thing
right.
from.
Say, yeah. Hannah Stern shit. Don't mind it.
Hey, it's
Oh,
starting
look,
back
it's-
up. Thank you, Windows.
It's down
Um,
now, advertising Aiden's laptop
Fuck my
behind him.
arse. Yeah.
Will I go into the comments as well we had on it?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, go on, yeah.
David Joy said, one bad cliche that always gets to me, why do they always turn to the path where everybody knows what the outcome will always be? Bad. So it's that kind of, ooh, that has sunshine and rainbows. Ooh,
Oh, yeah, I
darkness.
getcha.
I'll go down the dark, scary path. It's like, yeah.
Am I going
Fuck
to
no.
the shopping mall or this dilapidated factory? Dilapidated factory, please.
So that bit in the Clerks cartoon is like, so should we just go down, the exit or the maze of death? I'd say let's go for that maze thing.
The maze.
The maze
sounds fun.
of death. Yep, that's the one. Let's go.
The maze of death. I
Oh,
love
it.
Break crack.
The new It film does a very funny part like that as well. Do you remember when they're in the house? I think like there's 2 or 3 doors. Like one's like not scary, very scary, absolutely terrifying. Or something like that. Oh, I love that shit.
What else we got? Grace Lawler says women being generally useless and getting chopped up first.
That's just women.
That's valid. Oh, Jesus.
wow, Ken, Jesus.
Sorry.
It is genuine in a horror
I
world.
I would say women have a higher survival rate in horror films than guys. considering the lead is usually an actress
Yeah.
rather than a guy. No, obviously there's a fair share of dumb women in horror
They're
films.
both called
That's
actors
because-
now,
Sorry.
Mick.
That's because they just want to see that female lead running in slow-mo away from the killer without a sports bra on.
Titties again.
Huge cans.
I have no problem with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I read my sister's one actually? Just
Go for it.
Bitches that run upstairs in a gaff. Run at the door mentally, you retard. That was very well put. I like that one.
It's perfect.
And it's it's and it is a you know, maybe the number one cliche. Certainly top 5 anyway. Yeah.
I'll do. All right, Ian Boylan. This isn't funny. Turns around and gets scared by a cat. Damn you, Mr. Snuggles. Turns around again, gets stabbed.
Yeah, I love that one. Yeah, I like that.
Oh, I love it. Some of these are fantastic.
Yeah,
Luigi Mango Farmer.
that is a name.
His name is Mark, but let's move on.
No matter how fast you run away, the killers always maintain your speed by walking ominously slow. Yep. Premarital sex will get you killed. It's true.
Correct.
The fragility
Is that
of
not just true in real life?
That's what they say anyway.
Yeah.
Who knows? The fragility of female ankles is shocking.
It's true.
It's so good. Colin Fitzpatrick, the woman with the short hair cut or a bit of a raspy voice is being a general badass.
Which is sexy. Can I have some?
That is so true. Anyone girl with a short hair in a horror
You
film
talking
is usually
like
a badass.
I can't remember.
Give me some
the
examples. Come on, because that sounds hot.
Aliens.
Yeah, that's the primary one
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
I know there's more as well, because that's I know that's true, and I just can't think of any other examples off the top of my head. But yeah, that's
Michelle
definitely-
Rodriguez in literally any film she's in.
Oh, it's hot.
I would.
Twice.
Twice on Sunday.
Yep.
Edel. Oh, she's given us loads. Women falling. Yeah, we did that
Mhm.
one. Mobile phones having no signal. Yes.
Or
Low battery.
Or house phones.
Doot,
The
doot,
signal
doot.
automatically
Oh yeah,
goes.
not working for some reason.
Yeah.
They
They've
cut the
cut the phone
lines.
line.
Also, I don't know where they're getting these home phones in some films, but they're literally out the back of their garden, down a farm field, into a fucking next door neighbours, and their phone is still working.
It's like the
Yeah.
joke from Home Alone. It's like, I'm calling the cops. What, from his tree house?
I never got that. That's
Yeah.
so good. The fake based on actual events. That's so annoying. Not being able to start a car when being chased. They're pretty much up.
That's actually
true.
a very
It's like,
good one, yeah.
Why is it that a car will work fine up until that very moment?
When
then
someone's
suddenly-
walking slowly towards you.
And it's like, oh, someone just took the fucking starting motor out of it.
Or the keys are always in the
In the killer's hands.
light visor
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Either that or they put on the lights and see the fucking keys
Killer
on the
standing
ground.
there. Yeah,
The
all
keys
that.
are always on the ground
Yeah.
outside the vehicle.
The other car-related one that annoys me is that when you're running towards a car and they're fumbling with the car keys at the door,
Yeah.
because it's just like, I can't get the door open, I can't get the door. I've done this 100 times ever, and my car has automatic central locking.
Wow, horror films these days would be totally different,
Yeah.
wouldn't it? You wouldn't even need to push it in. It has a push start.
It just starts when you get close enough to the car.
The door
It's like,
opens
welcome
itself.
back, Michael. Thank you, car.
Or even if the killer does have
I'm
the car
safe.
keys, if the killer has the car keys, it's still going to pick up on the sensor. But you're going to you're going to drive 10 meters away from him and get cut out. So you can continue that as he chases
Yeah.
you. You can just continue to drive that extra meter.
Yeah.
The killer picks up that off the ground and is
the
walking
little
slow.
sensor,
Yeah.
like the McGann keys.
What about the killer who has been waiting in your car for the 9.5 hours?
Yeah.
You've been working the night shift just to murder you when you come out and sit in your driver's seat.
Well, of course he's going to get. He's exhausted. He's waiting for hours, for fuck's sake.
You turn around, it's just asleep in the back seat.
Oh, give me a mask again.
That's fantastic. I'm going back to the live feed because it seems to be hitting off again.
Oh, wait. You didn't read all of Adele's one.
Oh, wait, did I not? Hold
You
on.
didn't.
Fuck's
Oh.
sake.
You got
I don't know if it counts as a cliche, but I do
no.
enjoy
You
it.
the fake based on actual events one as well.
You read
I
that?
said
Oh,
that, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I
Yeah.
apologize. Second part then. Go on.
I don't know if it counts as a cliche, but I do enjoy when music changes or stops as a signal for shit about to go down, just in terms of building suspense.
Mhm.
I also enjoy the "I'll be right back" gag at times, but mostly it's still bad. It's very much true. It's yeah. What else we got on the live feed? Oh, I love you guys. Look at this. I'm sorry, I called you fat, Nick. Hold on, catching up with the preachers.
Nobody called you fat.
Wow, your dad says a new definition for a real cunt. Wow, you
What?
are not welcome home ever again.
What did I do?
Your family are just having a domestic in the chat room.
Also,
No, they're
Nicholas
just
says,
drunk in Puerto Rico.
hold on,
what time is it over in Puerto Rico?
Giving us
Yeah,
abuse.
Nicola is definitely, he's not posh. That's Ken, who's the poshy in the corner throwing comments in. He's from Cabra.
My sincerest apologies, Nicola.
For the foul language. Yeah, I don't know why my mom's giving me such abuse.
Yeah, she says, I'm signing out your 3 dicks.
Well, 4, but like whatever.
Holy
Unless
shit.
she just likes Ken and she.
Sure, you
I
can't
don't
be
know.
doing that, lads.
Hear your mother.
Doing what?
Did you say hello to your mom? You fuck
I
you.
did.
I think they're all drunk. I love it.
Fucking did.
I love this.
I said hello to you, man. You stupid bit. No, I did. I did say hello to you. All right.
Okay,
Jesus God.
Laura actually gave us a comment. Or find
A non-family fight tangent.
yeah, find large objects out of nowhere and have the strength to push down the stairs at the killer. That's actually an interesting one. They always find something like not small or anything they can like. I could totally
A
jab this in
boulder.
his neck. Why don't they just pick up this car and throw it at him? Like seriously.
I will push this table down the stairs.
Speaking of family feuds, one that annoys me is when the group of people trying to run away from killers get into an argument and all split up.
Oh yeah, that is a
splitting
classic.
up is another one. Yeah, that's true.
All right, this haunted house. You two go that way. Jimmy, you go down to the basement. I'm going up to the attic.
I don't want to alarm anyone, but there's a floppy diskette seek failure.
Oh, yeah, press F1. will
No,
you?
just
No,
leave
don't
it
just
for
press it. Strike the F1 key to continue.
Hi.
It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. There she is.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
And now
Wouldn't
we're
it be
on this.
amazing if the blue screen of death just came up on it?
No, it wouldn't.
It'd be fantastic.
It's a learning curve. It's our first time in the HQ.
This
Yeah.
is
Next
that's
time,
very true.
delay auto updates till tomorrow. God damn it!
Was that what it was? I don't know update or something.
It was
Yeah,
an
like, if you
update,
don't
yeah,
if
fucking
you
window.
don't say delay or anything, it'll literally
They'll do it at the
force it
same
onto
time
it.
every day.
I seen it and thought, it'll wait.
Sometimes it tries to force it.
Yeah.
Dano sent us a picture in the comments. Hold on.
Oh God!
I need to-
Oh yeah, that's pretty funny. It's just
Oh,
him.
he's flipping us off through his phone. That's
Thanks,
Through the
Dano.
great medium of
so,
audio.
so he took Hannah's phone, used his own phone to take a picture of. Like that's a lot of effort.
I think he actually did. Yeah,
I'm
'cause
not
it
even
was like-
mad. I'm impressed.
He signed in.
I actually just think Dano has a picture of himself flipping off on his phone just for these occasions.
It's
Oh,
just-
automatic,
it's
where
the
he just
ENG
sends to
that
people,
he just
yeah.
overlays
yeah,
up.
yeah, it sounds about right actually. To be honest, like very accurate, if you ask me.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, straight away. Your family seems to have given up. You're disowned.
They passed that.
They probably
they're
got
gone.
fucked out of pub.
Well, they're getting my fucking tits, to be honest with you.
They're all back.
Are they?
No.
Oh god, they're back.
Oh God, they're back. You're dead. You're dead. Oh shit, mommy. He said hello. Okay. Fucking hell.
Do we have any
are you
more
fr-
feedback, or is that? kind of-
No, it's pretty much just a family event now going
Now
on
she
the live
said,
comment.
calling me a stupid bitch. How do you think you're with that? Stay fucking away from me. I started to call you stupid bitch and I stopped. It was a joke. Then there's awkward silence.
Horror cliches. So, what else did you
Awkward
have on the
silence,
list?
horror
When
cliche.
the villain is dead, but he's not actually dead. Yeah, another one.
Oh,
Here's
yeah,
another
that
one.
would have been like what is that about him falling out the window?
Oh
And
no, I
then just
mean like
disappearing.
literally, you're looking at his corpse.
Oh, like sits up like Kane.
for that one
Yeah.
final scare.
Fun final scare. Yeah, I know Scream parodies it, but like, that is not the only one. Like,
Mhm.
if I remember, is it Halloween H2O? Had it where he's lying dead, and then he goes to jump at her, and she cuts his head off.
Halloween water.
I think he's in Halloween H2O, isn't he pinned to a tree and he's like,
Yeah.
and then she cuts his head off, which they
Spoilers.
retcon to the fact that it was actually the ambulance guy that
Yep.
he had found time to subdue and change into his costume and pin him against the tree.
I was. That's why I brought
Uh,
up that. I was going to actually mention that. That is one of the stupidest fucking things I've ever heard in my life.
Mhm.
Which?
That thing. All right,
How
so
they
it-
retcon
they go off
killing Michael
an
Myers
edge of a road.
in H2O.
Mike Myers' body goes flying through the air,
Mhm.
impaled on a tree. Jamie Lee Curtis goes down like that, chops off his head. And the way he's supposed to survive is while in the ambulance before going off the cliff, he completely changes the clothes completely.
Yeah.
Or did that? Another
Yeah.
explanation was he transported his soul into the other body. It was like, oh,
What?
fuck off. I'm losing. This is the
Doesn't
problem. I
matter.
think that's the problem with horror films. They tend to think the audience won't notice. Or they won't
Or
care.
they won't care, yeah.
It's like, we care. It's definitely fucking stupid.
I think the thing with a lot of horror films, this isn't so much a cliche, it's just what happens with horror films, is that the killer becomes the star, and then they have to make more films with the killer, even though the natural conclusion of a lot of these films is to kill off the killer. Like,
Yeah.
how do you make another film with this guy that people gravitated towards
Do, 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 do.
if
not
he's
dead.
dead, but then it's, oh no, he's not dead, or it was his mother at the end rather than...
Hey, spoilers for Friday the 13th, for Christ's sake.
Sorry. I
Although-
never said what film it was. It could have been...
Well, in fairness, Scream
How I
spoiled
Met
that.
Your Mother.
Spoiled that at the very start of the thing.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th is a great film, actually.
Yes, it is. It's critically panned. The first, I only watched the first two, but they're fucking perfectly good films, I think. I want to keep going and
The
watch some
character
more, but
design of Jason is good, even though it's just a big burly guy in a hockey mask.
Yeah.
not in the second
Watch
one. I
Freddy
think it's
Not in the
Jason.
second one. He's got like
It's
a
like a bag on
potato
his head,
sack
isn't
or
it? Yeah.
something on his head.
Yeah.
Yeah. It changes in between films, which is weird.
Yeah, because he's rarely in the
Yeah.
first one. If I
Yeah, look,
remember
he has to
correctly.
wash the mask.
He's like, what am I going to wear today?
It's like how Spider-Man has a shitty costume at the start, and then he eventually gets Tony
Spider-Man
Stark
costume.
to make him a decent one, innit?
Yeah, that's kind of true. Yeah.
Have we read all the comments?
I think
Yeah,
so. Yeah,
well,
that's,
I think
that's
that
our
covers
live.
us.
That's
Yeah.
our comments.
That's our cliche.
In
Our
fairness,
thoughts.
we did
Mm.
drop a hell of a lot of viewers ever since your family stopped arguing, so...
They were here for the fight.
So listen, as embarrassing as it was,
It's a human cock show.
yeah,
Cock
as
fight.
embarrassing as that was, that you're more than welcome on next week because you're good for viewers. Let's be honest. Yeah.
Oh shit! Mom, throw away all Aiden's stuff in the attic. I'll order a skip now.
Mm.
I'll ring in the red car to a car boot sale.
Jesus Christ.
You've got some
you've
phone
gotten-
calls to make after the podcast.
Yeah.
Seriously, 20 minutes ago you had a family home. Now you're fucked, man.
So does anyone want to help me after this to go back to my house?
I need to move.
and take all of the shit out of the attic.
No.
Oh, come on. Oh, you're mean.
Next
yeah.
week?
Yes, we have. what's
It's
that?
your film next week.
It is The Fly.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, it's Joseph.
It's
Okay.
The
Yeah.
Fly next week, and I'm excited for that because I love Jeff Goldblum. I've always heard good things about this
Yeah,
film. Like,
so this is one of the ones I'm excited
always.
for because I've never seen it.
either have I. So that's why I'm really excited for that.
Mm.
Mommy,
Yeah.
can we adopt Joe?
Mm.
I'm sorry to cut across, but that's a great comment.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
we have
I mean, he's
a-
in his 30s, but he can try. I don't know. Do we have a question of the week?
Yeah.
Joe?
Best insects in
Best Jeff Goldblum films.
Ooh.
Really?
I don't know.
I can only name a couple.
Yeah.
So can I. That's the problem.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Independence Day.
Like Jurassic Park, Independence Day, The Fly, I'm out. That's it.
Shit,
Sorry.
yeah. Top 3.
Thor
Shit.
Ragnarok.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's great in that as
I
well.
love that. That's like literally last year.
Yeah.
And we can't even fucking think of all the
Yeah.
ones. It's been about 40 films or more.
Probably.
We'll talk about
Shit,
it
yeah.
afterwards and put it up
Yeah, we will.
on
We'll
the
think-
social
yeah.
medias.
I'll try to. You know, I'll even try to think something because my film this week. I'll try to think of something
Yeah,
to
that's
match
fair.
a lot. Something doesn't have to be
Mhm.
inclusion on it, but I'd like it horror themed at least.
Yeah.
Something.
No,
I'll think
the
of
question
something.
doesn't naturally it doesn't have to be based on the film. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Aiden, you seem to want to be the one that runs through this. How you get in contact? So why don't you do that now?
One deep breath.
Run that spiel off.
So if you want to contact us, you can find us at Preachin on Preacher on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter at PreachinPod. You can email us preachinonpreacher@gmail.com. You can listen to all our back episodes on preachinonpreacher.com. You can find us on iTunes, Mixcloud, and Spotify. You can also find us on YouTube. So search for Preachin on Preacher on YouTube, and you'll find our channel there. It's also on the link. There's a link to the channel from all the podcasts that are uploaded anyway, in the descriptions of them. So yeah.
Good job.
Not bad.
I believe that's everything, isn't
20 seconds.
it? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So yes.
As well, actually, it's hard to find the page on YouTube. I'll have to try sort that out because if you actually type Preachin on Preacher, you get a load of preachers from America preaching.
I think it's the tags.
see the light.
I think
So.
it's the channel tags. I don't think it has
I
any.
feel the
So,
power.
Like if you do put it in first, there is a million different things of like.
Yeah.
Don't
like
you
those
dare be sour.
crazy,
That's
crazy
definitely
religious
not a
Americans.
preacher.
Now my mom's flirting with you. She says Joe's the love of my life.
Yep. Also, Hannah says the social media Mick? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark.
I think I said
Question
the
mark.
social media.
Oh.
It's probably the definitive article that threw her
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
It's because he's
Always,
getting old. He's
always
like, "The
said you were
social
ancient.
media."
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
there
How did
we
we not
go.
recognize? Say it again.
What? The social media. Well, actually, what I actually said was, Aiden, you like doing the social media stuff, which is
Fair
valid
enough,
and
fair
apt.
enough.
We
All
will
right.
listen back on this and make sure of that.
Here, look, semantics. Never mind all that.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
that's
Listen,
true. Hey, I'm adopted.
Scientists speculate that swirling sea breezes full of the grit sculpted these rocks.
you still with us,
It
everybody?
looks like a giant crab.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Fuck, it
Useless
kinda does.
information.
Yeah, we
Sorry,
should.
if you're only listening to this in the audio, it's on the computer screen. So I decided to crash and restart the computer,
Yeah.
and it's one of the auto-generated backgrounds from shit-ass Windows.
Now there's a knacker throwing comments from the corner.
Sorry.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hear you, Nicola.
See you guys next week.
Or you hear you,
Keep
you
on
pucks.
preaching.
You
Oh, sorry,
better
no, that's
chill
you.
out,
Sorry.
or you ain't coming over with a big bag of cans.
Yeah, this is Ken's gaff. You'd like be
Yeah.
careful who you're talking
Yeah.
to.
Big bag of cans.
Oh, big bag of cans.
No.
Now,
That wraps us for the week.
I
mate.
will
think
say-
that does
Oh,
wrap
sorry,
us
Aidan's
for
there's
got
one
more to
final
talk.
thought. Just
Okay.
in my family's defense, and I'm not trying to backpedal here
Okay.
to curry favour of my mom.
They raised me.
Everyone
And
else is
I'm
adopted
deadly.
apart from you.
Yeah.
How's his dad adopted?
In my family's defense,
Okay.
they're on the sesh. I think they might be drunk.
That's fair. That's allowed. That's
They
allowed.
might be drunk.
Well, if they're in Puerto Rico on their holidays and they're not drunk, there's something wrong with them.
Yeah.
Cans
Cans with Ken.
Cans with
Cans
Ken.
Can you get that hashtag going, Nicola? Preaching on
Is
preacher.
that our,
hashtag
is that,
cans
that's
with
our
Ken.
Friday evening podcast.
Hashtag cans with Ken.
Yeah, that's our
Alright.
Friday evening podcast.
Oh, I love it.
Jesus, we have
Um,
one for every day and nearly every hour. At this
Every
stage.
day of the fucking month at this point.
Yeah.
That could be a
Um,
talk show where Ken solves people's problems via drinking.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Ken's
It's like
with
an
Ken.
agony can.
We're moving to the couches.
Just an agony
Cans
and
with Ken.
just every problem you open a fresh can.
Cans with
Oh,
Ken.
Hannah's coming in and ignore the culture.
Oh, well, thank you.
I bet
Okay.
she
very
calls
much,
it red
Hannah.
sauce too. Hashtag Mickey on the ceiling. Oh, no, Mickey on the ceiling.
Oh, that's a callback,
That's
isn't
a classic.
it? Yeah, just to
This is getting out of hand.
yeah.
All right,
just-
okay, yeah, we need to pack it up for this. We've got
Yeah.
a podcast to finish.
Finish, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, any final
Mickey on
thoughts?
the ceiling?
Just to just to
Oh,
very
what a
quickly
feeling.
to very quickly explain that when
Joe's
we were
Mickey on the ceiling.
we were talking about we didn't have our lease renewed when me and Joe and the
Uh-huh.
lads lived together. We were talking about destroying the place because the landlord was a cunt.
Oh, okay.
And one of the things that we suggested doing, or Nicola I think suggested doing, was
painting my dick and pushing
Joe
it against
covering
the
his
ceiling.
Okay.
penis in paint.
You know what? You don't need to
Yeah.
talk
And
anymore
painting
about
the
that
ceiling.
story. I get the idea.
And then we came up with the song.
What a feeling
With
with Joe's Mickey on the ceiling.
But what happens when you get erect?
Gonna have to be.
He gets
For the
stuck
Mickey.
up there. That's what happens.
The
I got.
Mickey-
If we're thinking about it now, I definitely would have needed a fluffer just in
Mm.
case. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
a tall ladder and a
Like-
fluffer, and somebody holding the ladder at the bottom as well.
and paint that is non-toxic.
Yeah, because God
No,
forbid your
yeah.
balls get red afterwards.
It's like, Joe,
Non-acidic.
why were you googling paint safe for your penis on the Googles? On my
Oh.
On the
computer?
work computer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
All red body paint.
Yeah.
Non-toxic
Oh,
cock paint.
the mother says, "Joe, see you in G-Town. That's not G-Town." Well, then, yeah, I don't know if he's going to go then if it's not G-Town. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not interested.
Right, listen,
Just
let's wrap
remember,
up.
Yeah,
Mary.
okay, there we
All
go.
right, let's
Joe's
wrap.
Mickey will be on the ceiling.
I think
What a feeling. With Joe's Mickey on the ceiling.
I'll see you guys next week, yeah?
maybe. I don't know if I'm showing back up after this one.
Oh, wow. After all this Mick
This
quits
is what it
now.
took, yeah.
This is what it took after
Oh,
everything we've
Christ.
been through.
Right,
All right.
I'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
See you guys next week. Love you. Keep on preaching.